even see that. I mean, we got it Tuesday on agenda deadline.
Okay.
Okay. A regular meeting of the City Council held in Council Chamber on Thursday, July 16, 2015 at 7:00 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on July 9, 2015 at 5:13 p.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Absent will be Councilor Toriel. Councilor Ferry is on the way. Council President Sargent presided. Councilor O'Keefe moved to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Matter carries. President Sargent requested that everyone please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Siegel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public testimony. We have 3 people signing up. Please be reminded, public testimony is a total of 15 minutes, not 15 minutes apiece, please. We'll have some leeway, but not too long. Joanne Kennedy, please. Approach the podium and state your name and address. And
Joanne was not able to make it. She was advised by Councilor Turiel that I could read this in her stead to get it on the record.
I'm going to ask that we go along with that, not being here. You're supposed to sign up in person so many minutes beforehand.
There was another.
But can I request a suspension of the rules, please?
Move to suspend the rules.
Thank you. All those in favor? No opposition? Being none, please proceed. State your name and address for the record.
Okay. My name's Robert Kennedy, 17 Carlton. This is on behalf of my wife, Joanne Kennedy. Same address. I'm not going to stand here and give you all a lecture on organic and inorganic biochemistry, nor will I sensationalize this by listing all the malignancies and non-malignant but nonetheless devastating diseases associated with the contaminants at the proposed High Rock development. A discussion of just one of the contaminants, trichloroethylene, would take up this entire meeting. These contaminants are the legacy of the tanneries that flourished along the North River. They are a legacy from a time when we did not know the health issues that exposure to these chemicals could cause. But now we do, and we must behave accordingly and put health and safety before the whims of developers. As a clinician who has dedicated her career to the care of children with cancer, I have serious reservations about the overall safety of this development, particularly as the plans seem to have shifted many times. When I read in the Salem News that, quote, we could run a preschool program while the seniors are doing a dining event, and that, quote, apartments could be in the picture, unquote, I was flabbergasted. The environmental report that was completed on the site clearly states that even with remediation of the toxins, the site cannot be used for residences, daycare, or schools. The mayor and the city must make sure that all remediation is performed correctly, including the use of the correct vapor barriers. Why I'm asking that the mayor and the city be responsible for this? Quite simply because the mayor and the city council want this development. Therefore, they have the moral and ethical obligation to the citizens of Salem to make sure the site is safe. Signed, Joanne Kennedy, clinical research nurse in pediatric neuro-oncology at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
Thank you.
And I'm the next one up after
Go ahead,
this.
go on. And for a moment, let the record reflect that Mr. Kennedy was signed up next. I just didn't realize who you were. You were the next person signed up, so.
You get
Go
the
ahead.
whole family tonight.
Thank you.
So, to continue on this theme, I'm here tonight with some very grave concerns about the current plans for the community center, or as we used to know it, the senior center. As pointed out in the previous statement by my wife, Joanne Kennedy, the site that community center is planned for was judged by the state to be not suitable for children to be around. The AFU plainly said so. Now, High Rock and Mr. Sweetser are claiming that due to a soft market for retail space, they have to put market rate housing on the site to make a profit. High Rock has a notorious history of making bad business decisions and then demanding that the government bail them out. In Providence, they claimed they needed $75 million to complete a building renovation. They were denied and then came back demanding $40 million. Yet at the same time, according to a press release sent out by High Rock's own law firm Rich May, they had just closed a $50 million fund and had, and I quote, $200 million to invest. Mr. Sweetser is the type of person who wants the public to carry the risks, while he gets the rewards, plain and simple. And for some reason, Salem has decided to do business with him, despite the fact that it is against our best interest. In fact, the risks we will be expected to carry go far beyond money. Not only is the site polluted and considered hazardous to children, but is also in a flood zone, according to the current FEMA flood maps. The site in question is very much within the floodplain for the area. This makes sense since the entire site is simply landfill over what used to be an estuary. Make no mistakes, that site does and will flood. And unless the city has taken the stance that global warming does not exist, we will see more flooding of that site in the near future as sea levels rise. And Mr. Sweetser wants us to let him build homes on it, to place our citizens on tainted ground that will, not may, but will flood at some point. His company and LLC will be gone as soon as the last check clears. Our citizens will be left holding the bag. To complicate this even further, we have a serious issue within our government which has not been addressed at all and is vital to address before the first spadeful of ground is turned over. As you all know, we recently had a very expensive fountain redesign on Essex Street. To be blunt, it is a total failure. Not only does it look cheap and inexpertly done, but it also leaks. It doesn't flow as it should and was damaged during the winter. In short, it is a $300,000 eyesore. I have yet to meet a single citizen who isn't embarrassed by it. Sadly, the planning department and the mayor's office, both of whom pushed for this renovation, have chosen to ignore this issue. There's been no public discussion of this problem, and there certainly haven't been any apologies to the citizens of Salem, nor any public discussion of fixes and remedies. You might be wondering how this relates to the project at Boston and Bridge. I will get to that in a minute. Trust me, though, it is very relevant. Due to the lack of public discussion regarding the fountain, I started digging to figure out what went wrong, why was it such a mess, were we ripped off, did someone not do their job, etc. This is, after all, a city that I love. What I discovered is very disturbing. According to the minutes of the Design Review Board meeting of March 27th, 2013, the DRB approved the fountain design and materials. In fact, the basin was reduced by 12 inches, and the fact that it was made of cast concrete were discussed. Here is the problem. Reducing the basin size is why it leaks. Choosing cast concrete over numerous other more durable materials has resulted in breakage and staining. On top of this, at a later meeting, Councilor Famico asked that barriers be erected to keep snowplows from damaging the fountain. Very sensible. This was denied for some unknown reason, and now we have a damaged, leaking eyesore in the middle of our city. The fact is, the buck has to stop someplace. The DRB approved the fountain, and they need to be held responsible for that approval. And this is what worries me with the community center project. Our DRB failed in almost every single way with that fountain renovation. The city response to this has been almost non-existent. There has certainly been no public response. We are left every single day to walk by a reminder of how $300,000 of taxpayer money was squandered. And now the very same DRB and the very same city government is saying that they can handle the building of a multi-million-dollar community center and residences on toxic soil in a flood zone. We are assured that Mr. Sweetser, someone who is arrogant enough to expect the taxpayers to subsidize his financial mistakes, will have the site cleaned and insulated against any toxins. That the DRB, who can't even handle a simple fountain renovation, will be looking out for our best interest in this very tricky situation. I don't buy it, and neither should you. Now, you may hear all sorts of horror stories about how we need to do this, and we have to do it this way, or the whole deal will fall through. It's been 20 years. Better no deal than a bad deal, I say. If this is to happen, we need to put the brakes on the process now. We need to have an open and public discussion about how to handle issues like the fountain on Essex, and quite honestly, what should be done about the DRB and others who approved it. And yes, it has to be public. We are a democracy. The city spent our money on this mess, and we have the right to see the solution hashed out in public. From there, we can determine how to avoid the same pitfalls in the future. It is only then that it would be appropriate to move on to this far more complex and difficult issue of the community center. It would be folly to go into this with a shady developer and a DRB that is above any repercussions for their obvious and blatant failures.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Next is T.Z. Riley Goggin, please.
T.C. Riley Goggin, 9 Wisteria Street. And to Mr. Kennedy, I applaud you. On the agenda that I read this evening, there's the transfer station, there's about the gateway, meetings I've attended this week in different parts of the city. This is July, this is summer months, the schools are out, the colleges are out, people are on vacations, but here in the city of Salem, we are doing business as usual as far as developments. People are not paying attention to what's going on around them. I say to you, the councilors, you are supposedly the people who are supposed to keep your citizens, the people who elected you, informed. I don't know how you will do it, but I am asking, please, 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 do something about what happens here in this city. Many things will be passed, from home rule petitions to anything else that you can think of. A year ago this time, approximately, we had Salem State University send a letter that was lost someplace along the way so that citizens didn't realize that a 15-year plan out of Salem State University was going to go forward, and nobody made comment on it. The very same thing is happening here in this city right now. If you go to the back of your Salem newspaper, which many people in the city do not, and I say, do not get, they do not know about what's going on with the legal notices. They do not know that it's in there about the flood plan. They do not know it's in there about that the community development plans are in there and what's going to happen in the next 3 years. You're the councilors. Is there anything you can do? I'm not sure. But I'm saying right now, if you care for your city, if you truly represent what the voters put you in for, then please pay attention. Don't let things like this happen. This right now, there's a saying, while the cat's away, the rat shall play. And you can figure out what that means after I sit down. Thank you.
Thank you, T. That ends public testimony. Any councilor testimony? Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Point of personal privilege?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes, we have a guest in the chamber this evening that didn't have an opportunity to sign up for public testimony.
Yep.
I asked that the council waive the rules so that we can allow him to speak. It's Councilor at Large Tom Gould from the city of Peabody. As you might remember, last year we had the first annual Salem Peabody softball game. We put up a good fight. We came close, but we didn't win. And Councilor Gould is here to address us and give us some more information on what's going to happen this year, or I should say, the details of the challenge this year.
Thank you, Councilor Milo. I ask suspension of the rules to allow the Honorable Tom Gould, City Councilor of Peabody, to speak. Any objection being none? Councilor Gould.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Sergeant. Thank you, Councilor Milo. I'm here to lay down the gauntlet and invite you all to hopefully not another massacre. Mr. McCarthy, is the arm, Councilor McCarthy, is the arm in shape?
Yep, it's good.
All right. Councilor, Mayor Bentoncourt will be batting left-handed this year just to make
I
it
don't think
an
that's
even.
going to matter.
But I would really love to extend the invitation. We're playing under the lights at Cy Tenney Park in Peabody. Friday night, August 21st, Mr. President. We're going to have a barbecue and raise some pretty good money for our local food pantry, the Haven from Hunger in Peabody. Last year, we raised a few $1,000s, Councilor, and would love to do it again. Thank you for the opportunity. This is the trophy. I'd really love to see Salem down here.
Where does this trophy hang?
This is right outside the council, in the council chambers. So we could find a nice spot for it, right on one of these walls, but
Well, thank you, Councilor Gould. On acceptance of the challenge, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the matter carries.
thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilor
Thank you very
Gould.
much.
Further councilor testimony. Councilor Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, I'd like a point of personal privilege. I would just like to ask that we have stand and engage in a moment of silence today for the deaths of the 4 Marines and the police officer in Chattanooga, Tennessee today, in what, in my opinion, is a blatant act of open warfare and terrorism against the United States.
Thank you, Councilor. Everybody, please rise. A moment of silence. Amen. Thank you. Now, any further council testimony or announcements? Being none? We're going to take out of order and move to page 4. First item, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Help from the last meeting, Mayor's appointment of William McHugh to serve as the Harbor Master for the Port of Salem pursuant to Chapter 10, Section 4 of the City Ordinances. And, Mr. President, I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Epley moves confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
No discussion.
No discussion being none. On Councilor Epley's motion for confirmation by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio? No. He's not here. Counselor Siegel?
Yes, but before I do that, may I ask a question real quick?
Yes,
I
go ahead.
believe we changed the ordinance this past week. Maybe that's something we should address first before we appoint
Point.
Captain doing the ordinance.
This is his appointment.
Huh? This is the appointment? But even though it deals with 10-4, 10-4, I mean, at the mercy of the clerk, whatever you suggest.
Take up committee
Yeah.
report first.
Want to do the committee report first?
I would suggest, that would be my, just to make it cleaner.
It may be that we don't do roll call vote, it's just simple swearing in. So there may be with that.
That's fine.
Yeah. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we go to page 13 and take out of order committee reports so Councilor Siegel can amend the language first before we appoint the harbor master under the new language. And also that Councilor Fury has joined us.
Thank you. Very good idea. Committee reports, Councilor Siegel, page 13.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just give me a minute. There's a bunch here today. City of Salem and City Council, July 16th, 2015. The Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Section 10-4, Harbor Master's appointment, term, powers and duties, compensation, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption for first passage.
Thank you, Councilor Siegel. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was some language in the city ordinance that was different than the state ordinance, so we had to change the city ordinance to match the state.
Now, just point of clarification, this will move it from a confirmation by roll call vote to an appointment that's sworn in, or will we still go by roll call vote?
Still need a roll call vote.
Okay, thank you. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Now, return to page 4.
So moved.
And Mr. President,
Councilor Epley.
Mr. President, I again request that we appoint William McHugh to serve as our harbor master for the Port of Salem pursuant to Chapter 10, Section 4, and I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Thank you, Councilor Epley. On Councilor Epley's motion for confirmation by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Siegel?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the appointment of William McHugh as harbor master, 10 councilors voting, 10 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Councilor Epley.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend the rules.
Councilor Epley moves suspension of the rules. Any objection being none?
And-
Councilor Epley.
And, Mr. President, I move to allow Mr. McHugh to address the council if he wishes, but also for the swearing-in to take place at this time as well.
So moved. All those in favor? All those opposed? Mr. McHugh. No.
Thank you very much. I very much enjoy serving the city of Salem as harbor master. I look forward to continuing to do so. We get a lot of exciting things happening in the harbor right now and on the waterfront with redevelopment and the chance at increased tourism. And I very much look forward and am enthusiastic to be a part of that. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Harbor Master McHugh. Now we got to proceed with the swearing in. Is the mayor present? No? What? Excuse me? Huh? Yes, if that, unless.
Mr. President,
Move for a recess.
move for a, scratch that.
3-minute recess.
Joe, no.
All set?
I have memorized.
Going to get it.
I haven't memorized it. There you go.
City clerk, you want.
Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a harbor master, agreeably to the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth and the ordinances of the city of Salem, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Please.
Now, for a few words, I just, it's funny to me that we're swearing in Bill because he's been doing such a great job for the last several years. This was a long time in coming, getting to this point. We had a few things in the ordinances to change up, but just wanted to really thank him for the years of service he's provided to us. He's really upped our game on the waterfront as we have upped our waterfront activity. I constantly get compliments about the leadership, the professionalism, and his approach to the job, the team that he's built down there, and I just really want to say thank you publicly for all the work that you're doing. As we continue to grow the waterfront, Bill's a major point person for us, and his expertise has really allowed us to do that so far. So 2 more cruise ships coming in the next 12 months, and hopefully many more after that as well. So congratulations and
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Once again, I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll entertain a motion for a 1-minute recess, as we do with all swearing-ins. All those in favor? All those opposed? 1 minute. Motion to return back to session. All those in favor? All those opposed? We're back in session. Okay, out of order. Go to page 14, item 1, committee reports, Councilor Seagull, home rule petitions. Yeah.
Those people sitting over there.
Oh, 14, number 1. Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of a home rule petition to convert the annual wine and beer licensing currently held by Brody Seaport, Hollingwoof, Tequeria, and Naquig Ordinary to an annual all alcohol license to be drunk on the premises, has considered said matters and would recommend this home rule petition be adopted by roll call vote.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Just one little, there was one little typo in the home rule petition. It was fixed by city councilor today, city solicitor. Doesn't really change anything. Just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, Councilor Seagull. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Matter
I
carries.
did ask for roll call vote.
Oh,
Adopted
excuse
by
me.
roll call vote.
Okay, very well. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Seagull?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes. Thank you.
Next.
On a matter of a home rule petition for annual all alcohol liquor licenses for Brody Seaport, Howlin' Wolf Tequila, and Nom Cake Ordinary, this being a conversion. 10 councilors voting, 10 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. I'll move out of order, page 8, the Mayor Jean Levesque Life Center. Communications from the mayor.
This says received and filed.
Huh?
Yeah, it's received and filed, but she... Request from the mayor to address the city council regarding the Mayor Jean Levesque Community Life Center.
So Councilor Siegel.
Oh, she needs to speak. This was received and filed. I believe we're waiting for the mayor to address us on this.
Yep.
Thank you. We all set to go with this? Thank you. Madam Mayor.
Great, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to provide an update to the City Council on the Mayor Jean Levesque Community Life Center. There are a number of folks here who I think are interested in that, and we have a number of folks who have been participating in a working group that's been formed consisting of representatives from the COA board, a number of stakeholders, city councilors as well, who are helping craft the interior. This process, as you know, has been torturous, as I would describe it. In terms of getting a new community life center, it's something that we desperately need. Our current building really doesn't serve our need, and we've been trying to do it for a number of years. Despite all of our best efforts, collectively, in the folks in this room as well, the proposed original structure, Gateway Center at Boston and Bridge, was not strong enough demand for the commercial component of that. The developer has come back and talked with us about an opportunity to build a project on that site that would still house a community life center or a senior center, but it would not be in one facility. We would now have an opportunity for a standalone center. I've had the opportunity, I know, to brief all of you individually about moving forward in that direction. I'm excited about the plans that I'm seeing, the timeline that we've put together, and the ability to actually get this done. One of the key reasons I'm looking forward to this, not only because of the needs that we have and the ability that this new building will provide for seniors, I hope not only today's seniors but for generations to come, is this project seems very doable. The financing and the nature of the type of development that it is a mixed-use project incorporating some residential units, means there are some changes in the design plan and the feature, but the actual size and scale and ability to actually finance this is very real. The benefit for us, while it's taking longer, is the opportunity to have a standalone senior center / community life center, providing not only for, as I said, for today's seniors, but going forward. It does mean that there is some issues that we have to confront with respect to the timeline. While the last project was fully permitted and ready to go, and if there was a strong enough market to support commercial development, I think we'd be well underway in construction. This project, because of the changes, and there are some subtle changes and there are some real changes, will need to go through additional permitting. They've already started some of that. They received an amendment from their Conservation Commission earlier this month. We'll be filing with the Planning Board at the end of this month. They also have to go to the ZBA and the Design Review Board. Because this is in the NRCC, there's additional design control. So there's some permitting to go. We have to amend the Chapter 91 license that was received from the state as well. That timeline is pretty tight, but also being looked at very aggressively from the developer and the city's perspective to try and allow a start of construction by next spring, March of 2016, which would put us in a good position to actually be able to get in that building 1 year later, spring of 2017. As I mentioned, there is an interior working group of stakeholders that are helping design the program. Because we started this process, 5 years ago, The program needs of the Community Life Center may not exactly be the same today as they were then. So it's an opportunity for us to sort of take a fresh look and make sure that as we design this, it's something that we think has the flexibility to meet our needs going forward. I'm pleased that we have David Sweetser. Many of you know David. He's been in this chamber before to talk about this particular project here, as well as project architects and others to walk through the latest plan. There's also been a series of neighborhood meetings, or there are a series planned. There have been one already. There's another one next week to allow neighborhoods, neighborhood associations an opportunity to see the project. Perhaps I could ask David to come forward and start us off with an update as to where things are. And certainly want to take questions and answer any questions or concerns that folks have. But mostly, I want to convey to you that we are excited about this new project. I think you'll see some of that. We are trying to make sure we're sticking to a tight timeline. No one is more disappointed that we're not in construction right now than I am. I've been trying to build a new community life center or senior center, first at St. Joe's and then here for the last decade. My hope is with this new project, it's a slight amendment. There are some subtle changes, but it is very real. It's also very affordable. One big hurdle for us that I don't think is lost on those of us in this room who have to wrestle with budgets every single day is the cost. We are still looking at roughly $4.9 million for 20,000 square feet of new construction being paid for and built by a private developer on this site, which I think is about as central as we can get in terms of trying to meet needs and develop a place that's accessible, where the bulk of the cost of this site will be picked up by the taxes from the new revenue. That formula is critical, and that's really the only thing that's allowing us to move forward in a way that is affordable for taxpayers and allows us to actually get this constructed in a timely fashion. You have every right to be skeptical and ask questions, as do I and as am I, but I am excited and hopeful that we are on a path that's going to get us a new senior center along the timeline I just outlined. And with that, I will turn it over to David
Thank you,
Sweetser.
Madam Mayor. I would entertain a motion for a suspension of the rules to allow Mr. Sweetser to speak.
So moved.
Any objection being none? Mr. Sweetser.
Hi, good evening. David Sweetser, Wellesley, Massachusetts. Nice to see many of you again. This has been an ongoing effort by ourselves and yourselves. Me personally, it's been about 6 years that we've been trying to do this. I believe that prior to my involvement, it was a previous 5 years, so that I know this has been an issue before the city of Salem for over 10 years. As the mayor had said, the primary changes from our previous presentation to you folks has been that it is now a two-building development as opposed to a single-building development. The two-building development will allow the freestanding CLC, which originally we had called the Senior Center, and now the Community Life Center. There are additional components of the city services that are going to be represented within the building, as opposed to a senior center. But that's, of course, up to the mayor and you folks as to the utilization of that building. The profile will be freestanding with its own identity. It still will be the same size, within 100 feet, 20,000 feet, as the previous building had been allocated in the single building development. We are excited. We have filed. The mayor is correct, and in fact, we would anticipate beginning the approval process with the various boards of the city. We have had some community involvement already with a single meeting, with a second meeting coming up next week. We have been inclusive in our first effort 4 and 5 and 6 years ago. We continue that same engagement with the community. We have engaged you folks as well, and you obviously have listened to me before. We will continue that posture again, and we will keep you posted as to our development again. We are excited about it. We have roughly the same team involved. You may remember Frank Viteri from GZA, which is a very reputable environmental firm. Frank will continue to be playing a role in the project. Harry Gunderson of Gunderson Associates, who is here both professionally and residentially within the city of Salem. And I think many of you know who Harry is, and he'll continue with efforts here. And Mr. Joe Correnti, Attorney Joe Correnti, will continue to represent us as appropriate from the legal side and approval side. So we try to continue with the same team that we had before. I think that we all acknowledge that the demand for medical office, which we had hoped would be the primary use for the previous development, has undergone dramatic changes, both on the federal level and the state level over the last 3 to 5 years, whether it be the Affordable Care Act, whether it be on the local level, partners and what they're doing with various regional hospitals and hospital systems. That entire industry is in a state of flux, and there frankly just isn't the demand for that use. It's a dynamic thing on development, real estate development, and that dynamics is what makes it both exhilarating and challenging at the same time. And we do hope to have a residential component as opposed to a medical office component. Fortunately, the city of Salem is enjoying a dramatic increase in the demand for residential units within the city. We hope to satisfy some of that demand, and you'll be seeing more of this as we proceed through the boards, leading to hopeful approval for our project. So we are changing as the dynamics change within the industry, and we look forward to engaging you moving forward. What I'd like to do is turn it over now to Harry Gunderson, who I think can walk you through a series of a slide presentation that might jog some of your memories, being similar in some ways, but also being able to illustrate the changes that would occur as well. So you'll have a better understanding of the project.
Thank you, Mr. Sweetser. Before we begin, I think a few councilors have some questions. Councilor Go?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Mr. Sweetser, I'd just like to ask some questions before we go to the slide presentation.
Sure.
We've had some pretty intense discussions in the last couple of years here over the contamination on the property, the condition of the soil, what's there, what's not there. I know you've done some things to remove some of that contamination, the beryllium hotspot specifically. We have to get another Chapter 91 review. Can you walk us through exactly what's involved in that Chapter 91 review, what has to be done, how the testing is going to be conducted, and whether or not that involves receiving a new AUL? I understand we have an AUL from 2009 and one from 2011. Will there be a new AUL issued from this? Is that a requirement of the review?
Yeah, there is an existing AUL on the property, you are correct, and that AUL will be changed, adopting the improvements that we have made to the site. You are correct. We had, I'll call it a hotspot. That seemed to be the terminology most people kind of focused on. That hotspot was removed in its entirety from the site and replaced with structured soil to replace the quote-unquote hotspot. There is no longer a hotspot on the site. That needs to be reflected in the AUL. In addition to that, there are and has been multiple environmental sampling that has been done, and a series of that sampling. Our environmental expert will file all the appropriate reports, make them all available to everybody that would be needing it on a both board level as well as on a public level. Those are public documents, and people will be able to see the, I'm sorry? Yes.
I appreciate that.
Councilor Go.
Just, if I may, Mr. President, through you, has there been any recent environmental reviews being done there, any soil reviews being done there recently? And again, I just want to be clear, there will be a newly issued AUL?
I think perhaps maybe the person who might be able to phrase it more accurately than I can with the appropriate vocabulary might be Joe Correnti. So perhaps Joe could answer the question, but I think that would be more complete.
I would ask suspension of the rules to allow Attorney Correnti to speak. Any objection being none? Attorney Correnti.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Yes, there will be an amended AUL is what happens here, and that's very frequently used on developments. As sites change, as remediation goes forward, AULs are amended all the time, so there absolutely will be an amended AUL filed on this site. Frank Viteri, the licensed site professional from GZA, one of the most preeminent environmental firms in New England and in the nation, continues his oversight of all issues environmental on this site. He will be giving a detailed presentation to the planning board on this issue, and will answer any and every question that anybody has from the community. We understand it's an important question, and we are very satisfied with the answers. So we want to make you feel that way as well.
Councilor Ripley, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This question is Mr. Sweetser. Mr. Sweetser, you were here before this body in October or November of last fall, I believe, where we were getting an update on the then status of the project. And one of the questions that I recall asking you was, when is the absolute latest that we can count on shovels being in the ground? And your answer was April 2015. And that obviously, that date's passed, and now we're moving on to a phase where we're moving to two buildings. I'd heard at 1.3, but we're moving to 2 buildings. I want this to happen. I want a senior center at the corner of Boston and Bridge. As you may recall, I actually live I live catty corner. I'm the closest city councilor to living to the senior center. Why should I believe that you're going to follow through with your promise of getting this done today?
I guess the fact that I'm doing the best that I can. If there are alternate considerations that I need to make, I will make those. The medical uses that we were encouraged were coming to our site did not happen. And without the commitment for the tenancy, we could not have gone forward. And we are trying again. The easy thing would be to walk away, for me to walk away. That's the easy thing. I'm not interested in the easy thing. I'm spending more money to continue the effort here to get approvals, and I'm continuing to put money into the project. I would not be doing that if I didn't have confidence in the city of Salem and in myself. And I guess that would be the best answer I can give you at this time.
Mr. President, still...
Councilor.
Sir, I appreciate that, but I guess my question is, wouldn't you have known the issues concerning the medical commercial market back in October of 2014 when you were last before us? And what's changed between October 2014 to today in terms of the medical commercial market? I frankly, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Okay.
Sweet, sir. Councilor Fury.
We could have had Mr. President, fellow members, we could have had a standing and beautiful facility 10 years ago at St. Joseph's, but that did not work out. And here we are today revisiting it. Sincerely, there was a lot of anger, frustration, disappointment over the delays and deferrals in this process. You're going to hear, and we're going to hear at these neighborhood meetings, as I have gone door to door campaigning for re-election, and at a local council on aging dinner for spaghetti supper, you're going to hear an earful of what's going on. There's a lot of anger, total anger about the city of Salem, and frustration at neighborhood meetings and everywhere. We have heard a series of broken agreements and delays by your company. I have no confidence in your development process. My first name is Thomas, means doubter and twin. We have had an agreement with Councilor Ryan, who's in the audience now, when he was president, with you and the mayor, saying a shovelful will be done. Nothing's been done. All we see is dirt being moved around, borings being moved around. This is on a major access. It looks like something out of Afghanistan or Iraq war. It's a shame. Most cities and towns around the city of Salem, Swampscott, Marblehead, Beverly, Peabody, Salem, have a state-of-the-art, quality Council on Aging center. 2 centers, Swampscott and Marblehead, have theirs attached to a high school. We have a growing senior population. I am 66 years old. I wonder if we ever will see a Council on Aging in Salem. It's a tragedy It's a travesty of an injustice to the senior citizens of Salem. And we are the voters of Salem, I got to hear them. And the people up for election this year, I got to hear enormous amount of rage out there. Like road rage, it's council on aging rage. And I think part of the blame belongs to you in this delay and deferral. I think sincerely, the city of Salem, the easy solution for you to bail out, hello, I think the city of Salem should get out. I think we should have a plan B. Because you know right now, the city of Salem has no plan B. That we have no option. We have tied to you like quicksand. And that's not right, that we're tied by quicksand to you. That's shown no action in the last couple of years. We should have a plan B. And I've spoken to the mayor in their office. I've spoken at budget meetings here. There is no plan B. I offered a plan B to the mayor and to the people on doing the budget hearings and so on to show you that we should have a plan B. And if I was mayor, sincerely, I'd say this plan, Salem High School. Right on the facility at Salem High School, non-taxable land, non-hazardous land, 2 schools, you've got restaurants, you've got gyms, you've got auditoriums, intergenerational experience there at Salem High School, right near a golf course, right near a future theater, right on the hospital. We should build one. You want to step aside, you think it'd be easy for you? I think the city of Salem should step aside and break the relationship with you, sincerely. It's been a failed road promises from Councilor Ryan to us to year after year, 6 years. I have no confidence what's going on. I can see some nice drawings, but all we've seen in the last 6 years under your plan is piles of dirt being moved around the place and borings. I'm disgusted and I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed for the citizens of Salem, for the people as a senior citizen, that we don't have one, and we should have one. I expect action. Because if we don't see action in this blueprint, I'm going to vote, ask for a vote of no confidence and go for a plan B. This city has to go, deserves better. The Council on Aging deserves better. The director of the Council on Aging is here now. I spoke to her. We deserve much better. The city of Salem is and being embarrassed by your development process and this slow process. I'm angry. I'm furious, if I may use my name. This is embarrassing. So I have no confidence what's going on. And I hope to eat these words. My first time in 32 years in elective office. I hope to eat these words, and I hope that you may be right. But I don't think so. I think we'll be seeing you again maybe 6 months down the line. Oh, by the way, something happened. Guess what? The economy's doing much better than it's ever done in the past. The stock market's tripled since the recession. Hello? This economy should be a bonanza to your company. And that should be done by now. It hasn't been done.
Mr. Chairman.
So I'm embarrassed.
Thank you, Councilor Fury. Councilor O'Keefe.
Can we get on with the presentation?
Yes.
All this
Could
rhetoric can come
I
after.
just had one quick question.
All right,
I've got some questions too here.
Councilor Sergeant.
I won't repeat anything else said. My quick question is, in Salem, we've been building apartments at a far greater rate than we've been building houses and condominiums. The opportunity for owner occupancy and the vested interest in the city. My question is, well, we're gonna be asking for at least twice the density allowed by zoning. Would you consider building condominiums rather than apartments? So that people that, from Salem, even out of town, that may wanna own rather than rent would have that opportunity. Thank you. Council Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Mr. Sweetser. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Sweetser for coming to address the city. It's always tough when you know you're going to get these tough questions to address it. With that said, I do want to say a little bit of what Councilor Fury said. I'm not going to go into it, but it's not just Mr. Sweetser's fault. It's us as the city council. We need to look in the mirror. In 2012 or 2013, when this came before us, I asked to put penalties and restrictions on this, and we didn't. So that's on the city council. We allowed this to happen. With that said, I think we have an opportunity to put penalties and restrictions on. I'm looking at the vote from 2009, I believe it was February 2009, which was the P&S which was passed by the city council. That P&S was very specific to a plan and a drawing of a one building, 140,000 square feet, 20,000 square foot senior center inside that one building. I'm looking at this, and I'd ask legal to look at it. This is a major change in the plans. So I believe another PNS needs to be drawn and needs to be presented to the city council. I don't believe the PNS is still valid because it's such a material change in the groundwork. I am for a senior center. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to get a lot of calls saying, I can't believe you said that. But I'd like to see this. The seniors have waited long enough. But I do have a bunch of questions talking about that. I know you've done another AUL. You had to. The AUL that's filed in 2011 puts a restriction on residential for kids. So it's a no-brainer, you have to do it. My question is, when is the new AUL going to be filed? If you know that, because in my eyes, I'm assuming we're going to want the senior center built first. So if the senior center is built first, is there any guarantee that anything else is going to be built? And until we have that AUL filed that says that's valid, good property, so we can put residential there, the answer is we don't know. So I would ask that you file that before you even put a shovel in the ground on the senior center. With that said, I'd also ask about, how many residential units are we going to put there? That's a concern for the neighborhood. It also comes down to a concern with parking, because I believe for every residential unit, you have 1.5 parking spots. So I guess maybe it's in the presentation, how many parking spots are we going to have? Because I believe it was like 278 or 378, I don't know the figure, for the senior center and the original one, and I'm just curious if we're going to have that much for the new one, because I'm concerned. If this is a residential unit, people come, they live, they stay there at night. What's going to happen? We're going to have enough parking for the seniors. The next issue I have, and I'm sorry to take up so much time here, but I do have a lot. I already asked about what would be built first, and the reason being, again, not only am I concerned that nothing gets built, I'm also concerned that this project has always been sold to the citizens of Salem and the city council as one that's going to pay for itself. And if you build the senior center first, and it could take a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, if it's built at all, the other stuff, we're not going to be receiving the tax revenue from this, this development. So now we have to figure out where we're going to come up with another $200,000 or $300,000 per year, the first year, second year, third year, and so on. I would like to see them built both at the same time. I don't know if it's feasible. I don't know if it can be done. I know everyone wants a senior center, but to me, financially, I'd even like to see the apartments built first, just so we know and we're guaranteed that that's up there and that we could get tax revenue coming in to cover the $5 million as we go forward. And if I just could have 1 second. I think that's it. I look forward to hearing from your responses, not tonight, of course, but at a later time, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilor Siegel. Question to the mayor. Is this presentation going to be put in a PDF type format or something similar that can be put at the library so any Salem citizen can go there and access it?
Yeah, we'll get it posted, absolutely. We have it in PDF, or we can get it in PDF and put it up on the website as we normally do for a number of
Get it on the website and some copies at the Salem Public Library, maybe?
Yeah, yes, we can make it available for folks, not a problem.
Thank you.
So can I just add,
Yes,
I
go
know
ahead.
I sense certainly frustration, and I've endured those feelings myself around this project, and not just this project, the whole desire for a new community life center, which has been a cause of mine for a long time, and we're going to get it done. And the frustration that you have, the skepticism, the fear of the credibility of the developer are frankly all the same emotions that I have had and still have at times. When Mr. Sweetser came in and said, look, I can't make this work, I can't make the commercial side, the commercial development work, I was very upset. We were told we were going to be starting construction. We were told that this project was going to move forward. I do believe it was Mr. Sweetser's and High Rock's intention to bring this property forward. They've invested money, they're spending money. It's not just pushing dirt around. There's actually a science to that in terms of some of the soil charging that has to go on for that site. There's investments being made, but we're not getting to the end game that we all want. The reason the senior center, community life center piece was pulled out was because when Mr. Sweetser came back and said, look, I don't think there's a market for commercial. In fact, I know there's not. There has been several fish on the hook that would lead one to believe there might be, but unfortunately nothing real that ever came together. but I want to now look at residential. There is a strong residential market. I think I can move forward and get this financed. I know I can because I know how strong the market is for that. And we'll put you, senior center, community life center, right in that first floor. I said, wait a second. Being on the first floor of a residential building is a lot different than being in the first floor of a commercial building with medical offices. We're going to wait too long. You're going to have to change around some permitting. Can you pull it out? Can you pull it out for the same money and build us our 20,000 square foot facility at this site? And he said, I don't know. They said, I don't know. I said, well, I need to know, and I need to know a timeline to do that. And we need to know a dedicated timeline that you're going to meet to do that. Came back 2 weeks later, said, here's what we can do. 20,000 square foot facility, started moving around where it might be, developed this timeline, which is an aggressive timeline. It doesn't feel that way for those of us who have been waiting for this for a very long time, but it is aggressive in terms of next steps. And we are tying this development team to that timeline, meaning if you tell us you are going to submit to the planning board on July 30th, and you don't submit to the planning board on July 30th, we have every opportunity to pull out and leave and pursue a plan B, pursue another alternative. This is not going to be, let's wait until next spring, and if we don't see a shovel in the ground next spring, then we'll pull out. We've got check-in points along this entire way to hold feet to the fire, to make sure this is progressing at a pace that's actually going to end in a new community life center that we can all be proud of. So I hope this is an occasion where you're going to see not just pretty pictures, but know that there's a strong commitment and a strong timeline attached to action behind it to actually end up with a community life center that we can all be proud of. I would be cautious about Plan Bs and funding and how that comes together. We don't have a Plan B, you are correct. And it was torture getting to Plan A, as I recall, trying to find a site that everybody can agree to or that there's strong consensus. There is no perfect site for a community life center, for a senior center is what I've decided. And this is a site that had enough consensus from the people in this room and those that were here before us, and it really was a very strong community process around it that identified a site that actually could move forward. Then we have the affordability component. Every community life center we've talked about has had a private development attached to it to help pay for it, as Councilor Siegel mentioned. When it was at St. Joe's, the taxes from St. Joe's would help support the bond for this new site. Here at this, the original rendition was the square footage of commercial space, which does pay more taxes, would help pay for the bond for this, along with the sale of the building. In this particular project, it'll be the residential component that will help pay for this. I also want to point out, to be fair, if we as a community were building a community life center ourselves, the city building it, it would cost way more than $4.9 million. There are several examples of communities that have recently built community life centers that, around our same square footage, substantially higher costs. So I understand the hesitancy, I understand the anger and the frustration. I feel it myself. I don't like the current building we're in. I want to be out of there as fast as possible. And the fastest way to get us out of there into a brand new, beautiful building is this proposed project. And I hope that as you see the work that's underway, I know some of the team is here, they've been meeting to look at the internal space and how to make it perfect, as I said, not just for now, but for decades to come. You'll begin to get maybe a tinge of excitement about it. And as we begin to knock down hurdles, you can see it really coming together. But frankly, it's not going to happen if we don't have support. So we need people in this room who want this to happen to say they want it to happen. We've got to go to the planning board. We've got to go to the ZBA. We've got to go back to the state. This is a floodplain area. It has there's a number of protections, a number of folks who are going to have their eyes on this, a number of inspections. But the last site is fully permitted. So I don't want to make more of that. It's a process we have to go through. And what's the design, what it's going to look like, how do we make, lots of architects are going to be looking at this from the design review board. The last building went through all of those, and it was bigger in size. So we're not starting completely from scratch because we've already had something permitted that's the same height, same general size, actually a little bit bigger than what's here. Same considerations in terms of impacts. In fact, this will probably be a little bit less impactful in some areas. So I'm following the trust but verify, right? We're actively working together. We want this to happen, but we're going to keep it on a tight timeline. and make sure that if it's not coming together, we're having that conversation sooner rather than later. And I do think there's a strong team here. The architect team, the construction planning team, trying to sequence us to get us moving as quickly as possible. Permitted together, get that community life center in the ground constructed so we can all enjoy it as soon as physically possible.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yep.
One more question, and then we'll move on with the presentation. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mayor, I'm with you. I want to be excited. I am excited about having a senior center at Boston and Bridge. You mentioned trust but verify. I'm interested in trust but fine if the developer does not meet expectations, because he has not met expectations at any way, shape, or form. And so if there is a missed deadline for filing with what have you, there should be a substantial fine, because that's the only thing that the developer understands.
And so we have talked about and have in place protections and penalties and, being able to go forward with plans and the work that's underway so far, so that we'll have some ownership of those things. And I think we're all interested in making sure we don't end up in a worse place than where we started, and finding ways to do that. So there are protections built in place in this new timeline to provide us with not only financial resources, but we should get the benefit of the work that's been done, things like that. And going forward, we'll continue to find ways to do that. The reason we came here was to update you, to show you the work that's been done, because I get the frustration and the skepticism, and it's earned, right? It's well earned. But we're looking to move forward in a way that's going to be really positive for our community, and we're spending time and frankly, his money, all of these folks being paid for by the developer. So, that's, I think, a show that we're serious about advancing this plan. I think probably the only person that wants this project to move forward more than the 11 of us is the guy that's writing the checks. It's him. So I'm hopeful, I'm excited. I'm sorry that people are angry and frustrated, and I completely understand it, but I think we're gonna have a good project out of this. We're gonna have to say we wanna do it, and we're gonna have to hold feet to the fire to get it, but I'm committed to making it happen. And I just hope all of you are as well. And if we get to the presentation, I think you'll get to see a little bit more of what's been going on behind the curtains, and certainly we'll make it available to others as well.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Please be brief now. Council Fury, and then Council McCarthy, and then we'll see the
Very tough
presentation.
and very strong against Northside Carter, which failed its contract and so on. And the city council has been very, very tough. And it was very hard for us to do it, hard for you to do it. We came out with a new company. I think we need to be as firm as we were, and as tough as Northside Carter. I think we've been soft on this, very soft. Sincerely, I think that trust to me is not there. Sincerely, I think we need to be, this city council, as Councilor Todd Siegel said, we need to show some backbone. Because way back when Councilor Ryan was president a few years ago, right? He had some strong actions with you to say some action. We haven't seen no action. So I think we need to be tougher on Mrs. Ressler than we were on the Northside Carting and new waste management. Hopefully we'll see positive results.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Council Fury. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Briefly, I'm going to put on my other hat for a second and just go to the whole process, and we'll look at it from a construction side. You've been loading the soil down there. Has it stopped moving?
Yeah, yes.
So it's finally stopped moving. So the proposed, I know we're going to see the rendition in a second, the proposed site for the standalone center, are you going to have to load that area as well too, or is that outside the scope of what's already been loaded?
Correct.
So you're going to have to load that and wait for that to stop settling?
Right, but that's going to be done concurrent to the approval process. There'll be no time delay because of that.
Right, so that's going to happen as soon as possible, because I know that the loading process for this building took quite a long time. That's what was one series of one of the delay. And I know it's not going to come up in this, it'll come up at a planning board meeting, but I know that from being in this room through long discussions about this whole project and the thing, and I know that one of the hot spots that we referred to was basically right under where the senior center was going. Are there any hot spots under the proposed site of where the standalone facility is going to be?
No.
None whatsoever. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's begin the presentation, please.
Good evening. I'm Harry Gunderson. My office is at 20 Central Street here in Salem. I want to start by just doing an overview of the project, from an aerial point of view. Here's the site is in red, which we're all very familiar with this by now. This is Bridge Street coming out of downtown Salem. This is Boston Street going to Peabody in this direction. You can see from these photographs that the surcharge is on the ground at that location. This is the previously approved project. This again is Bridge Street and Boston Street, and this was the office building with the senior center in the east half of the ground floor. We have entrances off of Boston Street here. We have entrances and exits off of Bridge Street over here. There's an exit right turn only out of this end of the site onto Boston Street. We cannot make left turns into here by the configuration of that entrance. A lot of time was spent on the buffer zone with the design review board and the planning board and the planting and planning of the parking lot in this case. This is the site plan for the new project. Again, same streets, same entrances exactly. They haven't moved. The buffer zone is identical. This is the multifamily building with some retail space on the ground floor. This is the Community Life Center location at the east end of the site. We'll get farther into this as the planning board and design review board process goes on, but there's a cut through. It looks like three buildings, but it's not. There's actually a bridge over this. This is a plaza, courtyard that cuts through the building that helps resolve the grade differences between the sidewalk along Bridge Street and the elevation of the parking lot in the back. Here's a numerical comparison of the two projects. This is the office building project. It was 138,000 square feet. It was 4 stories high, and it was going to be 58 feet high. Parking for 374 cars and a lot area of 5.1 acres. The new project is comprised of these two buildings. The CLC is 20,000 square feet. It's a 2-story building, approximately 30 feet high, probably slightly less than that. Multifamily building is a little less than 163,000 square feet, 5 stories, also 58 feet high, 117 parking units and 298 parking spaces. And of course, the site hasn't changed. It's still 5.1 acres. From a landscaping point of view, the parking lot itself has, from about that point back, has remained virtually unchanged. And we haven't changed the buffer zone, we haven't changed the landscaping in the buffer zone, we haven't changed the landscaping in the island of the parking lot. The landscaping changes will all come around the buildings themselves. And when we get to the design review board, we'll be going over this in much finer detail. Now, the Community Life Center, a committee was formed a couple of months ago, and our first order of business was to update the program needs. I think the mayor hinted at this earlier. In the 5 years that we've been involved with this, the programming is actually quite different today than it was 5 years ago. They kept the people we're working with kept referring to the next generation of seniors, and I thought that was fairly interesting until I realized that was me. And so we have, a series of social spaces in the space, in the building. We have some department offices and conference rooms, and then program space for exercise, dance, games, crafts, etc. We looked at 2 different options for the building. One was a 1-story solution, and the other was a 2-story solution. And there are trade-offs in those two options. And in the end, it was decided that the 2-story solution was actually a much better solution because it allowed some outdoor space, gave us some additional parking, and allowed us to build a single-story space for the great room when the most important part of that is we can get much higher ceilings in there, so that space will be a much more interesting and useful space for the facility. And all of the program space, so the exercise, dance, et cetera, games, moves to the second floor. So the status of the committee is that we have developed conceptual floor plans, and we're working with Elaine Bello, who's here with us tonight, to discuss the interiors for a few minutes. And we are proceeding to design the interiors, get the materials and colors, furniture, equipment, and all of those things put in place so that when the approvals are in place later this year, we can move directly into construction documents and construction. Now, as I pointed out, the senior center is at the east end of the site. The ground floor plan, or the first floor plan, these are a little light, I apologize, but this is the parking lot side down here, and this is the sidewalk side. We have entrances in both locations, so you come into a central reception area, and then on the ground floor, if you come to the left, you come to the social spaces, the lounge, the cafe, and the great room. And the cafe has a serving area here. There's a kitchen behind, and the plan is for a fireplace between the lounge and the cafe. There's an area for performances or speakers in a stage area here. And then if you go to the right on the ground floor, you go into the office area for the departments. There are offices, there's a boardroom and a conference room in the corner, toilet facilities here and here, and then you have circulation in the middle. You have an open stair going to the second floor, an exit stair from the second floor, and an elevator going up to the second floor. On the second floor, you come up the stairs at this location, you come up the elevator here. There's another reception area where a staff member would be to direct people to the various locations. Again, there's toilet facilities up here and exit stairs. Now, what I'd like to do is have Elaine sort of go through the interior design portion of the project.
Before Elaine gets started, I should introduce you. Elaine Bello is working with the city, has done numerous projects involving senior centers to help us make sure we're space planning this appropriately, picking out the furnishings, the fixtures, all of that, and was with the first rendition of this, and definitely appreciate having her bring her expertise to this project. So thank you, Elaine.
Thank you, Mayor. After having worked on 15 other senior centers, I hope to be able to add just those things that the mayor just mentioned in terms of interior space planning efficiencies, in terms of durability and maintenance abilities of materials, and also help watch the budget. And I have quite a reputation for bringing things in under budget when it comes to interior finishes and materials, as well as furniture and the bidding process and helping with installations of all those things. So there were two parts to this new plan that have changed. Harry's already mentioned one where we've gone from a single story to a two-story building. And some of the benefits in terms of the interior spaces that have occurred as a result of that change are more generous, more gracious spaces without a lot of effort. So the ability to have a higher main hall or great room, higher ceilings, more natural light bouncing around, creates a space that's a lot like the main rooms that you see in other senior centers, which are lively, engaging, make people feel special when they're in them, bring about a lot of social interaction, which is a really important part of any community life center, and just create a general feeling of welcome, up-to-date interior space that's meeting the needs of the citizens. Another change is that the creation of a slightly more vertical plan rather than spread out in one story, so we can create some indentations in the shape of the building which allow for patio and exterior spaces. And on days like today, it's nice to be reminded by weather like this that it's very nice to sit outside. And this is good for students waiting for recreation activities, as well as seniors that are there to meet with friends, engage in social interaction, and then go inside for activities. So it just makes it a lot more friendly. One of the attempts in the design of any community life center is to keep the building from looking institutional and sort of dry, or a little bit like an old-fashioned school, and to look more welcoming, have a more hospitality face to the building and to the experience that people feel as they enter. And this design really takes those considerations into mind. The benefits of that type of approach create places for social interaction and also address the functions that are needed by the Recreation Department and the Senior Center. The things that haven't changed from this new design to the old design are the fact that a situation like this, a facility like this that offers places for people to meet and continue to improve their minds or stimulate their thoughts and their social interaction, allows for aging in place. So people can stay in their homes longer when they reach older ages by having a place like this to come every day. So that means that you don't just sort of walk in the door and go straight to a classroom and study photography, but you maybe come an hour early and sit in a cafe. So there are open spaces that encourage this type of activity. The insertion of that fireplace between the lounge and the cafe and the reception area can do just that. It draws people to it, and then while you're there, you see your next door neighbor and you strike up a conversation. Next thing you know, you have plans for dinner, and you can volunteer for a committee and teach some young kids how to knit or tap dance, and the next thing you know, people are feeling healthier and happier and livelier just for having visited this facility. So the interior, the concepts of the interior planning and the finished materials and the furnishings are all meant to support those goals, those design goals. We have a committee that's met several times already. We'll continue to meet throughout this process, where we have very careful input from the directors of the COA and the Recreation Department. So the functional needs are all being considered carefully. I hope to be adding to that team efficiencies in terms of allowing things to serve double duty, have meeting rooms that are used for one purpose at one time of the day and another purpose at another. For instance, a small meeting area for the business office might actually also be a place for a book group meeting in the evening. Or the fireplace lounge, which serves everybody coffee and donuts in the morning, could also be a place for grieving seminars in the afternoon. So we've really been careful to be efficient with the layout of the spaces, allow for multiple uses everywhere you look, and at the same time meet those social needs of seniors and Recreation Department visitors, and also be easily maintained, be cost effective on several levels, and provide useful space for the city.
Thank you. The exterior of the building, we are still developing. We will be going before the Design Review Board in August, and so these are very conceptual drawings at the moment, but as you can see, the building divides itself into a two-story element and a single-story element, this being the great room and this being the two-story element. You can see that there's opportunity here for exterior space outside of the cafe and exterior space here outside of the great room. This is the entry coming in from the street, and of course there's a similar entry on the sidewalk side. This is a three-dimensional drawing from the parking lot side. Again, you can see that the great room is on the left here, and the two-story portion of the building is on the right. Now, on the multifamily building, again, it's this corner building, as we've been talking about. And this is an elevation, a very conceptual elevation from Bridge Street, looking at the building. We have a large brick element on the Boston Street wing of the building, and this is the pass-through right there that you go through into the parking lot side of the building. and this is the bridge above it. And these materials here are similar to the materials that we have on the CLC, with the brick elements sort of bookending that, and there would be a similar sort of image on the Federal Street neighborhood side, the south side of the building. This is the north side of the building. And a lot of time and effort has been and will continue to be spent on the corner. That's always a big issue with this piece of property. And we look forward to that with the planning board and the design review board. This is an elevation of the full length of the property along Bridge Street. And you can see that the scale of the senior center or the CLC is in its two-story portion relative to the height of the multifamily building. So this is what we would see, and as you can see, there's a similarity in materials in this building, and this material is again carried into the tower and the bridge. So that's our brief presentation for this evening. How do we want to continue this?
All right, thank you. Councilor Ripley.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, the interior is fantastic. I love that. I love all that's planned there. It makes a lot of sense. I understand the outside and how you're wanting to, and also the larger building, the commercial aspect. I'm fine. I'm fine conceptually with that. I have to admit, and I'm a lawyer. I have no artistic ability whatsoever, but I have to say that I'm uninspired and unimpressed with the outside design of the Community Life Center. It may match to some extent the larger commercial space, but on the outside, that screams to me 1960s elementary school. That's what it looks like to me. And that's a problem. And I hope that through the Design Review Board and others, or perhaps in recasting this, that the exterior of our Community Life Center can be a vibrant part of the community.
Thank you, Councilor Ripley. Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Mr. Gunderson. Mr. Gunderson, looking at the design, I just had a couple quick questions. You said there was an elevator. Is there more than one elevator in the building?
In the CLC?
Yes.
No, one single.
So if that breaks down, no one can go upstairs if they need an elevator?
Well, there's stairs.
Again, but most people that, okay.
Yep.
We're spending $5 million, we can't get 2 elevators? Just something to look into. I mean, this is for our seniors. I'm sure a lot of our seniors can't, some may not be able to take the stairs, and if something happens, we all know things don't get fixed immediately. So now you're cutting out half the senior center for people who can't go up the stairs. So I would suggest we look into that, especially where we're spending $5 million. Also, I'm looking at the buildings, and it looks like this design is about 44,000 more square feet and 76 less parking spaces. So I guess my concern is, it's all well and good until we find out what's going into this mixed residential, how many apartments are going in there, and I don't know if that's something you would have or something Mr. Sweetser would have or something that's unknown at this time, because we've heard, I think it was about 117 apartment units, and the city ordinance is, I believe, 1.5 parking spots per each unit. That's roughly about 180 spots just for the apartments. That leaves us a little over 100 spaces for all the retail and the senior center. So I'm a little concerned about that. I don't know if that's you or Mr. Sweetser, but something we should look into, because I'd hate to have a beautiful place to go to and they just get frustrated because there's no place to park. That's all I got. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Siegel. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to preface, I have a bunch of questions to yourself and a couple others. That's okay with Mr. President?
Go ahead.
First off, thank you for your presentation. Just like the councilor from Ward 3, I also have questions about the mix of the units and as well as the number of people going into these apartment buildings. Next week, we're having a public meeting from the Metropolitan Area Planning Council with a housing needs analysis for the next 15 to 30 years or so in the city of Salem. So I'm wondering how this fits in within that. Also, I'm wondering, and I believe this would be through Mr. Sweetser, which neighborhood groups are you planning to meet with, and what is the timeline for that? For you, Mr. President?
Yes, go ahead. Madam Mayor?
Mr. Sweetser and his team met with the Federal Street Neighborhood Association earlier this week on Monday, and is meeting with Gallows Hill Neighborhood Association, I believe, Tuesday of next week. And they're before the planning board at the end of the month, and they were already before the Conservation Commission, so there's a full round of permit meetings.
Also, I am, actually, through you to the mayor. Connected to this, what are we looking at for a population increase in our city in the next, say, 15 years?
Yeah, I don't have those specific numbers. We know that there's two scenarios that are being played out for our region, one of status quo and one of what they call strong growth. There's certainly, the housing study we'll be talking about shortly certainly shows that Salem is growing and there's a demand for more housing. What the percentage of that population is, I'd have to pull that out of the data in there. But it's a modeling that plan that they'll look at to determine that. The good news is we are growing, and some of that population, the highest growth of our population is with our seniors. So that population is growing the fastest in Salem and in many communities.
Through you to the mayor again. Do you know the estimated tax base for the residential for this?
We don't. We haven't run the numbers specifically on this because we've just looked at it, but we did do some comps, I know, on the commercial side, so we'll do some comps on this as well.
I have some questions as well, and I know we can get this in the planning process. Yep. For how many spots with, as a Ward 3 councilor said, for the commercial versus the residential versus the community life center? I know it was 298 versus 374, but the breakdown would be helpful. And one more thing, the current Council on Aging building. We appropriated some funds recently to do some renovations and to fix things up. What is the status on that?
Yeah, I know that we're working on getting the repairs made to the roof. There's been some interior repairs made already, and I can get you a timeline on anything else that's left.
And as a developer, I would very much appreciate it if you could clean up along the fence of the property there in the meantime. We did a cleanup there a few months back and gathered about a dozen bags worth of trash along the fence right on Boston Street. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Famico. Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, thank you. Mr. Gunderson, everything being equal, when are you going to break ground? Are you
not for me to
answer the question? I mean, everything, all the permits, all the environmental issues, permits, and the building permit. When are you going to break ground? December 1st, January 1st, when?
Of which year?
Got an idea?
The current plan.
Tentatively.
Well, if the permitting goes as planned, the permitting will be complete in the fall, and we intend to break ground in the spring.
How long will it take for us to get in there?
I think Mr. Sweetser mentioned this. It's about a year after that.
A little less than a year.
A little less than a year from next January
Spring,
or
right,
February?
so spring of 2017.
Thank God, we're going to go forward. Now, how many doorknobs you have and how many panes of glass is not my concern. You're the architect and the designer, what have you. So why wait any longer? Let's go forward with this. And us, the council and people in the city, stop quibbling and move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor O'Keefe. Further comments from councilors? Being none. Thank you. Madam Mayor.
Just in wrapping up, I hope that folks are encouraged by this. I hope that you'll consider attending a meeting. I know many of you do attend permitting meetings to help us, one, make sure we get it right. There's been a lot of good comments right at the beginning of this. There's going to be lots of architects looking at it, as I said earlier, lots of opportunities to make sure as we make this change from the last project that was fully permitted and fully reviewed, and we go to this project, that it's done right. But we do need to show support for this. If we want a new community life center, and I think we all do, I think we need to say that. I hope you're feeling positive about what that new building can mean as we think about aging initiatives, as we think about not only supporting today's seniors, but the seniors going forward. And I hope that if you're not convinced now that you will be as this project continues to go forward, that it's an opportunity for our community to have a new facility in a good location in a way that's going to serve us for many, many years to come. And before I wrap up, I really would be remiss, frankly, after the winter we have had, if I did not thank Mr. Sweetser for allowing us to use a portion of his property for the dreaded snow storage farm that unfortunately was necessary. We never thought in a million years that we would need not only 2 but 3 snow farm locations. We did this year, and without this particular site, we certainly would have had a lot tougher time managing the snow, and as you know, it was difficult enough. So I do want to acknowledge and thank you for that, whether it's snow or school buses. In this interim period, parking of school buses, the developer has worked with us to try and accommodate needs that we have along the way. So with that, I'll wrap up.
Thank you, Matt. No further comments? Being none, I entertain a motion to return. We're going to go to page 1, and Council Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to take out of order, under communications from the mayor, a request to hold an executive session to disclose the operation and sale of the Salem Transfer Station in Northside Cotting. Roll call vote?
Yes,
By
under
roll call
discussion. On Council Siegel's motion, by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Siegel?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
And Counselor Sargent.
Yes. Thank you. On the matter to adjourn to the anteroom for to hold an executive session on the transfer station, 10 councilors voting, 10 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. We move to executive session. Moving to page 3, hearings.
An order, National Grid to install 1 single-owned pole and relocate a single-owned pole, and also install conduits on Lafayette Street.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Council Milo will recuse herself. Thank you.
Sorry, I had a little trouble hearing you, so.
Thank you for your patience. No.
Thank you, Council President. I'm Michael Byrne from National Grid, 44 River Street in Beverly. Here asking for a grant of location to relocate 1 pole and to install an additional pole, and also to cross under the sidewalk with 2 4-inch conduits.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor? Anybody wishing to speak opposed? Being none. Council O'Keefe.
Mr. President, through you, to Mr. Burns, has this issue involving with Mr. Wong been resolved? He's on the others. He's in Ward 5, the pole's in Ward 7, my ward.
Okay.
Okay, so you were discussing, what was the final outcome? Is he going to he's in favor of this transfer?
I mean, I resist speaking for anybody, but I answered the questions regarding his service.
You're asking us, not him. You are. You're asking the petition, not Mr. Wong. It's your pole.
Yes.
Okay.
He had questions for me about his service, which I believe I answered satisfactorily.
You did?
Yes.
And he's happy?
I believe he is.
Okay. And if he's happy, then
I don't
I'm
like to
happy.
speak
I'm
for
sure
other
Council
people,
is.
but I believe he's happy.
I hope he is. He's telling me he is.
Okay, good.
And he's in Ward 5, but the Ward 5 councilor's not here, but the poll's in Ward 7. On the Salem State University property.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Council O'Keefe moves that the hearing be closed. All those in
Yes.
favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Council O'Keefe moves that the petition be granted. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Matter carries. Council Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, I move that we once again move out of order to page 17 so that we can have the hearing on the zombie walk.
On the zombie walk.
It's page 17.
Hold on.
I'm excused to talk to Mr. Burns.
Excuse me?
I need to talk to Mr. Burns from the power company. Outside the chamber. Nothing to do with this.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Council O'Keefe.
Nothing, whatever.
All right, on page 13,
17.
page 17. Let's see.
Councilor Famico.
Okay, Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just ask for suspension of the rules to allow Mr. Richards, is it? Yes. Mr. Richards just to approach us to give us an overview of how last year went and the specifics regarding this.
Excuse me.
Sorry, Mr. Clerk.
What, I have to back up. On the petitions, I have to have the city clerk read the petition. Thank you. Sorry.
It's a request from Adam Fitch to hold a walk, a zombie walk, in use of city streets on Saturday, October 10th, 2015.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Council Famiko has asked for suspension of the rules.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just allow it for Mr. Richards just to come up to give us a quick overview and how things went last year, how many people were expecting, things like that, just for public record.
Any objection being none? Mr. Richards.
Greetings, Salem councilors. I'm back again to ask for permission to use the streets in October for the afternoon to parade about 150 to 200 zombies. Yet again, it will be another family fun event. We'll start at Collins Cove with your permission, and then wander through the streets of Salem on a route that has been approved by the Salem Police Department, and we'll end up at the Salem Commons as per we have for the last couple of years. So I think that's about it. If you have any questions, I've been through it before a couple times. Everybody has a great time. We just want to keep this little tradition going.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. Councilor Famiko.
Thank you, Mr. President. As someone who enjoys seeing this parade of zombies going through, I just ask that you remind people kindly not to bump into anybody on the street. We don't know if there's children, elderly, whatnot, and zombies can't always control themselves, but if they could possibly hold back a little around people, it would be greatly appreciated.
Will do.
Thank you.
Councilor Famiko.
Mr. President, I move for approval.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. On Councilor Famiko's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the matter carries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, council.
Moving back to page 4, appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Matthew Christensen to serve as a constable with a term to expire on June 26, 2016.
Council Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for received and filed.
Council Siegel moves received and filed. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Sean Newton to serve as a constable with a term to expire on February 11, 2016.
Councilor Siegel.
I move received and filed.
Councilor Siegel's motion to be received and placed on file. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $600,000 from fund balance free cash account to stabilization fund and retirement stabilization fund.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Gerard moves suspension of the rules. Any objection being none? Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move for adoption.
Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a largely routine transfer that we've done previously. This is done after the budget is passed, and as I said, the mayor and myself, and the finance director recommend this for approval.
Thank you. On Councilor Gerard's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $298,464.65 to the Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account for the retirement of school department employees.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Gerard moves suspension of the rules. Any objection? Being none, Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move for adoption.
Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. And again, this is largely routine. This is retirement stabilization for school department employees.
Thank you. On Councilor Gerard's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a transfer of $134,426 from Human Resources Treasurer Medical Insurance to Essex Tech Assessment and Human Resources DPS to Contractual Services Account.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Gerard moves suspension of the rules. Any objection being none? No? Oh, you got this is
yeah, I
direct
asked about
adoption?
That. This didn't require a suspension of the rules, is that?
All right, my mistake. Sorry. Thank you.
It doesn't, okay.
Under discussion.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. President. Again, this is routine transfer just to these two budget centers.
Thank you. On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in, under discussion? Yes. Councilor Epley.
I'm just curious as to what the contracted services are.
Mr. President, if we could suspend the rules, then the finance director is here and she can answer that question.
Any objection being none? Sarah Stan.
Sorry. The contracted services line is just a budget line item in the DPW that covers things related to outside snow and ice. So ROCA, that is not covered under a snow and ice expense because it was so far past the last snow incident that it would be transferred into the DPW's contracted services line.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stanton. Counsel Gerard. Move for adoption. On Counsel Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $100,000 from capital outlay repairs account to be expended for the repair of hydrants damaged during the winter.
Counsel Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counsel Gerard moves suspension of the rules. Any objection? Being none. Counsel Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
On the motion for adoption, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is exactly what it says. It's just for the repair of hydrants that have been damaged during the winter.
Very good. On Counsel Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $18,250.87 from the Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback account to be expended for the contractual buyback for the retirement of Michael Beck.
Counsel Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counsel Gerard moves suspension of the rules. Any objections? Being none. Counsel Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move for adoption.
On Counsel Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to authorize the mayor to execute on behalf of the city of Salem a grant of easement with Mass Electric Company for an aerial line crossing at 22 Thorndike Street.
Counsel Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval.
A motion for approval, under discussion.
Just looking at the paperwork, the easement is needed to enable the property at 18 Thorndike to receive electrical services.
Very well. Any further discussion? Counsel McCarthy.
Not on this issue. If I could, next. After the vote.
Back to the vote? Okay. On Counsel Siegel's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Matter carries. Counsel McCarthy.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. So we could get the finance director out of the room, has been waiting a long time. The last issue that she may have a question on would be a matter that was taken up during the Finance Committee earlier tonight with regards to the parking spaces in the garage. So if we could take that out of order.
Okay, let's go to committee reports then.
Page 14 at the bottom.
Okay. We'll take out of order page 14 at the bottom. Counsel Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of designating up to 50 total reserved parking spaces in the Museum Place Mall and South Harbor garages with a permit cost of $1,500 per year and to expire on June 30th, 2016. Has considered the said matter and would recommend amending the language to state that instead of saying with a permitted cost of $1,500 per year and to expire on June 30th, that we change it to with all permits expiring on August 31st, 2016, and that we adopt the amended order.
Yep. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This was, actually, it was a pretty quick discussion about this, that as I mentioned, Councilor Epley had moved to amend the order, and this was unanimously approved.
Thank you. Counsel Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, I apologize for not being at either finance meeting previously regarding this. I have concerns just about the number of spots in the garage. As someone that parks in there, sometimes you go in even during the daytime, it's completely packed, even up to the roof, and in the winter we lose those spots as it is. This past winter they had a bobcat throwing snow over the edge. As many of my residents downtown, they're required to buy parking passes, and as all of us know, in the future we're looking at possibly having more residential in the downtown that would also require these spots. Although this is a pilot program and isn't taking that into account for that, I'll have to vote against it as some of my residents already have difficulty parking there, and I think this will end up handicapping their ability even more so.
Thank you, Counsel Famico. Counsel O'Keefe.
Through you, Mr. President. I was all in favor of this a couple of weeks ago, and then it was 25 and 25. Why is it now just 50? Can someone explain? I'm not a member of the committee. Maybe that was explained earlier tonight.
That's
Why is it?
Can we suspend the rules to allow the finance director?
Suspension of the rules.
I'm sorry, Councilor.
No worry. Go ahead.
So the reason that we did that split, Councilor O'Keefe, is that there are a great deal more spaces in the Museum Place garage versus South Harbor, so it would be less impactful if we did it on a percentage basis. So we did a percentage of the spaces in South Harbor and a percentage of the spaces in Museum Place. So 40 spaces at Museum Place is far less impactful than if we did 25 and 25 and then 10 spaces at the South Harbor garage. Additionally, we've had a lot of interest from this, Councilor Famigo, from people in your ward, primarily the Essex, so just as a point of interest.
Thank you, sir. Councilor O'Keefe.
Through you, Mr. President. Then who decides how many are in each garage?
The mayor, Dominic, myself, and the parking board.
You decide whether it's going to be 25 or 10.
So per the recommendation of the parking board and per the A&F committee during the budget
That
session.
isn't what this says.
It says 40 and 10.
It doesn't say you do that.
No,
Okay. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say you do that. So are you going to be, who's there first gets it, or what? How are you going to?
so it's a
In the door.
Sure, so
Who's
it's
going to get the stickers?
so it's a lottery, Counselor. We have a
Oh, there's a lottery
it's a
now.
lottery. So the I'm sorry, the full council
What
wasn't.
else is there that we don't know about?
Give her a chance to answer. Sarah.
I mean, there's a lot. When was?
No, Counselor. So a couple of things. So we talked about this ad nauseum. I shouldn't say ad nauseum. We talked about it at length.
When did this lottery business come up?
So this was discussed as part of the budget process.
Discussed with the committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Why didn't you tell us that, Counselor? I don't, I'm not a member of the committee. I don't sit down. I don't know about a lottery. I don't think this is a very fair way to do things.
Sure, so
People have
Council.
been down that garage for years.
So,
Now
Counselor.
they got a lottery?
So,
They've been there 20 years at East India Mall.
Sure, so
Well,
Counselor
I don't
O'Keefe.
think that's at all fair.
Just to give you a little background on it, we talked about it at administration and finance. It
Thank
was
you,
the
ma'am. I don't
recommend.
want to badge you. I don't think it's fair.
Okay.
That's all new to me.
This was also the recommendation of the parking board, just to.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Understand.
Okay.
Are you all set, sir?
Yep.
Councilor Ripley first, then Council.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just asked for a roll call vote.
Yes. Councilor O'Keefe, and I just want to speak quickly on this.
Councilor Lodge.
Respectfully, very
Arthur
much
Sergeant, what?
against this, just because these are public spaces. And I just picture somebody who lives downtown buys them all day long when they're gone away, that's going to be an empty space that somebody could use going to work, and vice versa. If somebody who works downtown buys one at night and over the weekends when they're not at work, it's going to be an empty space that somebody who lives downtown can't use. And I just see these as public spaces with passes, with certain rules, first come, first served, and it's difficult to give up a public space to, you know, as a private spot. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
David, do you want to take it?
No further discussion. Vote, Councilor Ripley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I decided to speak after all, and I appreciate the President's indulgence. So there have been two Administration and Finance Committee meetings concerning this, and that were co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. So there's been ample opportunity for all councilors to attend and to participate. I know the President was present at the first longer meeting that we had, but I just wanted to address one of my colleagues' questions, that this is not something that's been sprung on us as a council. This was something that we really did vet. I know that Ms. Stanton and the Parking Board have taken a lot of time between those Administration and Finance meetings in coming up with the proposal. It was actually my suggestion, and Councilor Milo's suggestion, if I remember correctly, at the first meeting, about trying to reallocate the numbers of 25-25 to something that fits more precisely to the percentages. So it was actually upon reflection of fellow council members as to where that number came from. So I just wanted to assure my colleague of that.
Thank you, Councilor Ripley. Councilor O'Keefe?
Who are you, Mr. President?
Yeah.
Then can someone explain to me how they're going to distribute these passes at both garages?
Yeah, sure, Councilor.
All right, please tell me, somebody that's been down to East India Mall for 20 years, how are they going to buy one of these tickets?
Sure, so I'll just give an overview of the process of how we're going to do the lottery, just so if the council doesn't mind. I'll talk quickly, I promise. So there's going to be 40 spaces at Museum Place Garage, 10 spaces at South Harbor Garage. Parking forms are going to be available for distribution beginning July 20th. The form will say your name, what's your address, which garage you're interested in parking in, and this is making the assumption, by the way, that we have 50 people that are interested in participating in this program. If we have 30 people at Museum Place and 7 people at South Harbor, they will all get a space immediately. If we don't have 50 people by the time this happens, or more than 50 people, there'll be a lottery that's in place. The drawing will take place Thursday, August 20th at noon here in City Council chambers. We'll put everyone's name into a hat. One hat will say South Harbor, one hat will say Museum Place Garage. We will pull the 40 and the 10 spaces that are necessary for both garages. Notification for those selected as part of this lottery will be given on August 24th. Payment must be made either via mail or in person by August 31st. Placards will be given for each car. The logic behind this is, say you are Sarah Stanton and Dominic Pangallo and you would like to buy a $1,500 space. I would like to use it during the day. Dominic would like to use it during the night. The placard is based on who buys the space. So it's not a pay-by-plate mechanism, it's a placard. So you have the option where if you are a downtown resident, you want someone to use it during the day while you're not there, you can give your placard to them and take it back at night. Each space will be striped and designated. If I am Sarah Stanton, first person to have the Museum Place Garage Pass, I might have space number 25. My placard will say 25, my space will say 25, and if 24 parks in it, they will get towed. If some stranger parks in it, they will get towed. All those selected will sign a waiver form. That waiver form will cover a couple things. One, it's not used for commercial benefit. We're not going to have an Uber running out of the Museum Place Garage. And there's also no guaranteed space if there's major construction happening. Spaces will be located on this, what was it, Dominic, second to top level of the garage?
First level below.
First level below. So it's not the prime space. It's not that you pull right into the garage and you get the first space to the left or the first space to the right. Spaces will only be good for 1 year. So when you sign that waiver, it'll very clearly say the space is yours and yours only until August 31st, 2016. And that will end the pilot program. So it's a pretty open lottery process. It makes the assumption that we're going to have more than 50 people interested in this. I think after the winter that we've had and the calls that have come in, especially from places like Derby Lofts and the Essex saying that they would like to have a dedicated space that they're paying for, I would assume that we'll have interest over 50 people. If not, those who are selected in this first round will be guaranteed a space.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Council O'Keefe.
Through you, Mr. President. Has any of this been put in writing, what you just described?
Yes, so a memo was
The
circulated.
committee has got all of that and
Yep.
didn't share it with the rest of the city council?
So the city councilors were emailed today with a copy of, the full city council as a whole was emailed with a copy.
I didn't ask you that, ma'am.
yeah.
Did you put all, well, you just described this criteria, this
Yep.
procedure.
Yeah,
Has that been put in writing to the committee?
it has. So it was sent to the Committee on Administration and Finance, and it was also sent to the Parking Board for their review and approval.
Well, I think the acting chairman, then why didn't I get a copy of that if you're the acting chairman of A&F? Why didn't you give me a copy of this protocol that they've worked out? Where's this protocol in writing?
I'm sorry, I'm happy to forward this to you. I forwarded
No,
it to
ma'am, that's not the question. You work with the committee, I wasn't there. I'd like to know what's going on. What is the story? You're the acting chairman. Where's the criteria
O'Keefe.
in writing that the city finance director just gave us? Where is that? So I can look at it.
Council
You can
O'Keefe.
take my
Council,
copy.
No, ma'am, that's not
Please.
official. That's not for the
Okay.
committee.
Council
Up on the
O'Keefe, hold on.
committee.
Council Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. This committee meeting was specifically co-posted with the Committee of the Whole so that all members of council could attend and could question. It's the same thing with the previous committee meeting. If any member of the Committee of the Whole had expressed any questions, or they could have contacted Ms. Stanton, they could have contacted me, they could have reached out, and we would have forwarded them on the information.
Thank you, Council Gerard. Council Siegel.
Point of personal privilege, Mr. Chairman.
After
yield to-
Council Siegel speaks.
I'll yield to the senior counselor at this
Council
time.
O'Keefe.
What is going on here? I mean, if I didn't ask someone, they would have told me, wouldn't have told me, or would have told me about this criteria. You sat here tonight, man, I know nothing about what's going on. I don't have an interest in this.
Council O'Keefe, with all due respect, she's filling in for Council Turiel, and
Well, she should assume the
tonight wasn't the
responsibility
first.
and be well prepared
Tonight
for this.
wasn't the first meeting on this
The
issue.
acting chairperson.
Council O'Keefe.
Counselor O'Keefe,
Evidently, she doesn't have that piece of paper there.
Council O'Keefe.
Counselor
I'll
Sargent.
sit down. I'm not going to
Thank you.
support this. No, I think you're ramming this through without questions and let me answer the question. I'm not voting for it.
Counselor O'Keefe, just.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't want to badger you. You do a good work. I don't want to badger you.
Okay.
Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Ms. Stanton.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. I didn't make either meeting. I know you guys did vet a lot of stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, I think the people at home would like to know, how did you come out with $1,500? Because if you do the
Sure.
math, it comes out to about 17 cents an hour.
Sure. So, which is like basically what we're charging at the South Harbor Garage, the Museum Place Garage. We're actually charging less at South Harbor. So we had this conversation earlier at A&F. A couple things come into play with this. First off, you want to make sure that you're valuing the space in something, A, that's affordable to residents, and B, that makes it a little bit more of an incentive. If you're going to pay a premium to have a dedicated space, you should be paying a little bit more than the average pass holder holds for a space that's not committed to theirs. We reached out to several communities that have designated spaces and local garages. Prices range anywhere from like $50,000 to $100,000 in Boston, which they feel like is a very reasonable amount of money for a parking space. Which we didn't feel that way here. Other communities that have some sort of rotating designated spaces, but they weren't in covered lots, so they were in like wide open, sort of like our Church Street lot. 1,500 was somewhere in the middle. I think 1,000 was a little bit low. Councilor McCarthy pointed out earlier that if you include what the cost is for weekends in October, snow emergencies, and our daily rate, the space is about $1,000 a year. So really, we're just upcharging about $500 to be able to cover this. So it's a pilot program. I think the idea behind 1,500 is, okay, if we have hundreds of applicants, we'll go, oh boy, we priced this too low. If we have 0 applicants, we'll say, you know what, we should have priced it a little more reasonably. So it's somewhere in the middle. It's a difficult thing to put a total cost on a space in a public garage. So we think 1,500 is a reasonable amount of money to have a dedicated space 24 hours that's yours, snow, rain, Halloween. And we'll find out after the first year whether or not, A, there's interest, and B, if that was a reasonable amount of money.
Okay,
Thank you, Sarah.
Absolutely.
Council Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, I think it's important to note that this is a pilot program too, and that the distribution of spaces, as folks said earlier, is based on, the size of the garage. Apparently, there is some call for this, so I think it's important for us to at least try it and see if it works. If there isn't that kind of call for it, then the spaces won't be occupied. They will be available for other people to park. So I'm going to support it.
Thank you, Council Milo. Any
Counselor
further?
Sargent, if I may just quickly.
Go ahead.
I think it's also important to note that we've had some really meaningful dialogue with residents who A, have been interested, and residents that have B, had concerns. Several came to Administration and Finance Committee meetings. The Parking Board was somewhat of a lively discussion, sort of just debating the pros and cons of this and the value of having a 1-year pilot program to really get some good data on the usage of parking and the demand for parking, if there is one. I'm, as a downtown resident, I'm inclined to think that there is a demand for parking, but that could be my skewed downtown vision. But there was some good discussion that came out of these meetings, and I think it's important to note that we did talk to the citizenry. We did a lot of follow-up. The committee members of A&F did some really great suggestions to help us make this policy a true reflection of an overall picture for 1 year. So there have been some good discussions. I just wanted to make sure that we did note that we engaged with citizenry, and we had some good discussion as a result of that.
Thank you, Sarah. Being no further discussion,
Oh, I have another question now.
Council O'Keefe, please be wary of the late hour also. Go
Sir,
ahead
Keith,
if
you just
must,
like
but-
talking to me tonight. Let's be honest. Come on.
Do I have the floor?
Council O'Keefe.
Through you,
please
Mr. President. Sarah, how many people do we now allow to park in the garage without this lottery? How many are you down at the East India Mall? How many do we have?
How many spaces?
Yes, how many do we get paid for by the zoning amendment that requires people to have a parking spot? How many?
I don't know.
25, 50, 75?
The Essex number? Yeah.
How many?
I can find out for you, Council. I don't know the exact number between the Essex and Derby lofts who are
Well-
required.
Then there's going to be a lot of people that want to get these special passes.
Hopefully.
My whole point is, it's not fair. If you're not on first in line, and you've been there 25 years, you're not going to get a space.
It's a lottery, Counselor. That's the
I
hope. It's not
understand it's a
necessarily
lottery.
first in line. It's a lottery. So you could be in it, I could be in
I
it.
see the box downstairs that you put all the tags in, you're going to
Yeah.
rotate them, right?
That's-
Pull them out one at
Yeah.
a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to do it in here on August 20th. You should come.
We're getting, a lottery to park in a public garage.
Yes.
And the
For
one down at
for
South
a
Harbor
1-year
Garage.
pilot. For a 1-year pilot. We're not marrying this parking plan. We're just dating.
Oh, I understand, but it's all changed from what I originally was told. It's all changed.
Thank you,
Okay,
Council
thank
O'Keefe.
you.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Siegel?
No.
Counselor O'Keefe?
No.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
No.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
No. Thank you. On the matter of designating 50 total parking spaces in garages to expire August 31st, 2016, 10 councilors voting, 6 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. The matter carries 6-4. We'll return back to page 7, communications from the mayor.
We have an order of a home rule petition to convert one seasonal license to an annual license for the sale of wines and malt beverages to be drunk on the premises for Bambolina located at 288 Derby Street.
Council Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm going to move for adoption by roll call vote.
There's no committee, under discussion.
Under discussion, the reason I asked for this for a roll call vote versus committee, we just had 3 of these in committee, and this falls under the same guise as the last 3.
Yeah.
It's a B5 district, just like the other 3 that we're approving tonight. So I don't see really a difference. I'll leave it up to the members of the body. If they think it should go to committee, I'll put it into committee, but I think we've just hashed this out, it's the same, falls on the same guidelines.
Thank you, Council Siegel. Council Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, I'll support the Ward 3 and the chairman of the OLA's move to a motion to bring this to vote tonight. We did have a long discussion on the other 3 last night. This does fall completely under the same guise. We now have the licensing board, which did award this seasonal license to a non-seasonal business a few months back, basically going on record now as saying that they will no longer issue seasonal licenses to non-seasonal businesses. So this is just an indication of a new way that we're approaching licenses, both at the licensing board and here at the council. This is a new business here in Salem. They are going to be open year-round. It is beer and wine. I have no issue with voting on this tonight and not sending it to committee. We'll just be basically having the same discussions that we had last night and in previous meetings. So, thank you, Mr. President.
I just have, Council O'Keefe, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. President, I have a question to Councilor Golden, perhaps. I agree, it's a good order, but I'd like to know where is 288 Derby Street?
If I may, Mr. President.
Go.
It's 285 Derby Street, or is it 288? 288. It's where the Wax Museum gift shop used to be. Now the gift shop is much, much smaller, and they took over 85% of that space. They just opened within the last month.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Council Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to let, for the people at home know, seasonal liquor license is not really what you consider a seasonal liquor license. It allows you to serve, the only time you can is January 15th to April 1st. So that's the difference here. They already have the seasonal. They wouldn't be allowed to serve alcohol from January 15th to April 1st. This is just going to allow them to do it during that time frame.
Thank you, Council Siegel. I just have one question. Council O'Keefe.
Recognize Councilor Sergeant third.
It's a little difficult for me, and I may support it anyways, not to put it in committee, because the only other one we didn't allow to go to committee was the one on Highland Avenue. And I thought that was a real big mistake. But I just want to make sure this is a conversion. This doesn't leave a seasonal license for them to sell to somebody else. As with the 3 we did tonight. We converted 3 tonight from seasonal, so there'll be no seasonal license or sale, right? Thank you. You want to stay? Yeah. Call Council Legault.
Councilor Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the council at large. Once we do this conversion, the seasonal license ceases to exist.
Right.
It goes away. And I think that maybe the licensing board really has a good handle on these now, where we're not going to be, with the home rule process now, we really don't need all of these. The seasonal licenses were meant to supplement, so that we could add basically as many liquor licenses as we wanted. Right. The licensing board is looking at them differently now as a result of these home rule petitions, which we're just now starting to get a good handle on what to do with them and how to issue them. So once the conversion happens, the seasonal license is gone. It no longer exists.
I would offer also that.
Councilor Sergeant.
Thank you. If somebody has a year-round beer and wine license, and they go home with petition for a full all-alcohol license, that beer and wine license should go away. That shouldn't be for sale to somebody else. That should be part of what they give in return for getting a home rule petition. but that's another day. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak on this matter? Councilor Sargent?
Thank you, Councilor Siegel's motion for approval. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Siegel?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of a home rule petition to convert one seasonal license to an annual license for the sale of malt beverages to be drunk on the premises of Bambolino at 288 Derby Street. 10 councilors voting, 10 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 75, parking prohibited, resident sticker parking, from October 1st to November 1st on the following streets: Margin Street, Endicott Street, High Street, Summer Street, Broad Street, Winthrop Street, Hawthorne Street, Olivers, William Street, Union Street, Northey Street, Downing Street, Mount Vernon Street, Pratt Street, and Prescott Street.
Councilor Siegel,
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption for first passage.
under discussion.
This is something we do almost every year. We started doing a few years back, this for Halloween, just so people don't park in the neighborhoods who don't belong there.
Councilor Famiko.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, I think it's important for all of us to communicate to residents that have year-long resident parking. They cannot park on these streets. They will get ticketed. Secondly, I ask for a friendly amendment to add Smith Street to the order. If you're going down Northey Street and here's Lemon Street, Smith is the connector between the two. So if we do not add that to this, they won't have the ability to park on their street, or if there's a little bit of overflow on either side of them. In the past, it has been signed. I don't know why it was missed. And I spoke with the mayor's chief of staff, and he was okay with that.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. The whole idea of October parking, I don't know what happened to it last year, but we had more complaints last year about October parking because somewhere along the line, what was just alluded to was lost. There's certain streets that are added to the list for that 1 month period. And all of a sudden, that street, just because it happens to be, I don't know, pick a street, whatever street you want, and you get a hanging blue, yellow, orange, whatever color it is this year, you hang it on your mirror, it allows you to park on that street. Well, what was never enforced in years past was you had that you were added to the resident sticker program. Now, if I live on a street, it doesn't mean I have to park. I'd love it if I lived on a street and it guaranteed me the spot in front of my house, but it doesn't do that. But all of a sudden, during a high volume month like October, if you add a section of Derby Street to the list, and all of a sudden now you're allowed to park on Derby Street, if you're telling me that somebody who lives on any of the side streets can now not park on Derby Street because they may have a resident sticker parking sticker on their car because all the side streets, but now they can't park on Derby Street because it's been added to the resident sticker parking list, I have a problem with that because those are the people who got tickets last year, and the city, the collector downstairs was inundated with people complaining, residents who are members or partaking in the resident sticker program that were getting tickets for parking on streets that all of a sudden were added to the list for the month of October, that all of a sudden these streets became just exclusive to some subsection of the ordinance. If it's resident sticker parking, it's resident sticker parking. If it's zone, how they overlap or whatnot, but this was lost. And last year, there was a ton. You can ask the city collector on this, a ton of complaints about this because in years past it was never done, and someone last year made the decision that this was a good idea. It was wrong. The program is designed to protect our residents during the month of October. It takes those areas that have expanded beyond what we have for residents, sticker parking right now, and added to that list to encompass more areas just for that month. And now you're penalizing people, our own residents, by giving them tickets for parking in an expanded zone, which is designed to protect them from the people visiting from out of town. It doesn't make sense. I'll vote for this tonight to include these streets, but someone has to have a discussion with the parking director, whoever's running the parking department, is out there ticketing people, because this doesn't make sense. If you have a resident sticker, you have a hanging sticker, or you have a guest pass, and the street's ticketed, marked resident sticker parking, whether it's a permanent sign that was put there by ordinance, or whether it's done temporarily for the month of October, as a resident, you shouldn't be getting a ticket, period.
Thank you. Councilor Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, to address the Ward 1 councilors' concerns, maybe this is a solution, maybe not. I would suggest a friendly amendment to the ordinance stating that those with resident parking stickers in the abutting residential zone be included on these designated streets.
I'd like to speak when I get a chance on this. There's
Actually,
something.
can I-
Councilor Keith?
Why don't we just put this in committee? There's a lot too much to.
This is very confusing. I have relatives on 2 of these streets in 2 different neighborhoods, and I know the streets well. One of them already gets it every October on Oliver Street, and it's no problem. The Summer Prescott Street area, these are new. I would ask that this go to committee, because it's a smorgasbord of streets. It doesn't cover one little area. It covers all the way from the Common down to the police station. This is way too confusing. And the Summer Street area, it was a perfect mistake made some 10 years ago. They didn't approve it in time. They put up the signs, but they didn't improve it in time. Because everybody has to go run around and get stickers to put on their car. There's a lot of people that don't want that. They don't have to deal with that. They put up the signs in that neighborhood, and they didn't give the stickers, so the signs were a decoy. And they work perfectly for 10 years. You might get 1 or 2 out of towners that park there, but they come and see the signs and they're afraid to be towed and they leave. And it doesn't give the neighbors all the hassle of having to go put stickers in their car, have a friend come over, go get a sticker. The neighbors know who each other are. So nobody's gotten ticketed in that area. The police don't ticket it, but the signs are up, and it was a perfect decoy. This is gonna mess up 10 years of something that worked perfectly in that neighborhood. And I don't know where this came from or who was pushing it. I think sometimes there's 1 or 2 people pushing it. There are people that want to push resident sticker parking in one of these neighborhoods, and nobody wanted it. The guy that wanted it already had it in front of his house, and he wanted to put it on the side street beside his house when he already had stickers in front of his house. So there's something really wrong with some of this, and I'd like to see it go to committee, please. Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. After hearing from the members of the council, I would look to adopt your recommendation and put this into the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal, hopefully so we can bring it out maybe the first September meeting, because we're going to be pushing up for time.
Thank you very much. Councilor Famico. Go ahead.
May I add on to the discussion before?
Yes.
Mr. President? Just as a point of clarification, the way the ordinance currently is written for the October passes, that's what allowed the enforcement to happen last year, because it stipulates that those streets only. So it's a specific pass for those areas. So it's separate from the hanging placard, so that's something we can work out in committee, is the language surrounding that.
Thank you, Councilor Famico.
And I second the motion.
On the motion to move to committee, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter goes to committee. Thank you. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 17A, Schedule of Fines during the month of October, violation of Section 75, resident sticker parking. $15 fine to $40 fine during the month of October, and replace it with $15 fine, $40 fine on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the month of October.
Councilor Siegel.
I'd ask that we move this right to Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal.
On the motion to move to committee, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order authorizing the mayor to enter into a 5-year lease-to-own agreement with All American Investment Group LLC for a new Elgin Pelican sweeper.
Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd like to put this into Ordinance, License, and Legal, just so we could take a look at it, but I guess my only question, I don't see if this is time sensitive.
I don't know.
So, actually, I'm sorry, it is time sensitive.
Okay.
So if that's the case, I guess we should probably vote on it tonight. But I'll yield the floor to Council McCarthy, who I think has more information on this than I do.
Thank you. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank you for that. I was having a conversation with the mayor this past week about something else, and this came up during discussion about cleaning up something. And it takes a while to order this, get it online, and get it to us. And unfortunately, as some of us can attest to, the idea of contracting out sweeping services to an outside vendor just doesn't seem to work well for us. So it makes more sense to bring in back a state-of-the-art sweeper so that we can control it ourselves. So then we can also supplement the street sweeping beyond those periods from when we do curb-to-curb citywide sweeping. So I think, as stated in the letter, it is a little bit time-sensitive. I think it makes sense for us to try to bring this stuff back in-house, and it is a lease-to-own agreement, so it's, I think, the best of both worlds.
Thank you, Council McCarthy. Councilor Ripley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm in full agreement with Councilor from Ward 1. I just happen to remember that during our budget discussions, when we were talking about capital improvements, that this was actually one of the line items, was authorizing the funds, and this is essentially the mayor coming back and providing for a lease-to-own agreement along with that. So with that, I'm in full support.
Thank you, Councilor Ripley. On Councilor Siegel's motion for adoption by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Siegel?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
No.
Counselor Milo?
Yeah.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter to authorize the mayor to enter a lease-to-own agreement with All-American Investment Group LLC for an Elgin Pelican sweeper, 10 councilors voting, 9 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. The matter carries. Here's informational page. Being none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2015, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones, limited time, is hereby amended by adding the following. Phelps Street, in front of number 15, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion, Councilor Siegel.
It's self-explanatory.
On Councilor Siegel's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries first passage. Further motions, orders, and resolutions, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2015, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 49, obedience to isolated stop sign is hereby amended by adding the following. Witchcraft Road, southbound traffic on Witchcraft Road, stop at Puritan Road, stop sign. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. As is indicated, there is a stop sign that is necessary here. The only thing that, and it's a late point at the night as well in terms for discussion, but I just find it kind of ironic that we have Witchcraft Road intersection with Puritan Road. It's just, that's the oddity of the whole thing, but it is true. And it is very important. It's actually one of the major cut-throughs to get to Witchcraft Elementary School as well, and I'm in full support. And this is brought by a recommendation by Lieutenant Przewski.
Thank you, Councilor Epley. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries for first passage. Further motions, orders, and resolutions, Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2015, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones, limited time, is hereby amended by adding the following. North Street in front of number 184.5, as marked by a sign, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Thank you, Councilor Gerard. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. About a month ago, there was a sign here in front of this residence, and about a month ago, there was a drunk driver that took it out. And when we contacted DPW to put it back, and in looking with the city clerk and the traffic ordinances, we realized that it was never on the books. And so we want to get this correctly on the books and allow this person to continue. Actually, the sign is back, but just have it on the books, and it is supported by Lieutenant Krzyzewski.
Thank you, Councilor Gerard. On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries to first passage. Further motions, orders, and resolutions, Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Give me one moment. Let's see, this one is, okay. City of Salem, in the year 2015, to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, Handicap Zones, Limited Time, is hereby amended by adding the following. Bar Street in front of number 18 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Thank you, Councilor Gerard. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This actually is the opposite. This one actually, we need the order in order to get the sign for this resident on Bar Street.
Thank you, Councilor Gerard. On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries to first passage. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, members of the City Council, City of Salem City Council, July 16, 2015. Order that detached article from the Boston Globe regarding the CPA money be received and placed on file.
Thank you, Councilor O'Keefe.
Remarks?
Under discussion.
You'll recall that we had a discussion in the council chambers a couple of weeks ago about CPA money. Shortly thereafter, I received a call from John Ladle of the Boston Globe, and he asked me for my opinion if I would write an opinion piece, and he asked Councilor, negative opinion piece, and he asked Councilor Fury. And I thought the council would like to see the piece that was in the Boston Globe Sunday about our views on the CPAs. I'll never be able to find it at home with the mess in my office, and my wife will attest to that. So I think I know the city clerk will keep it in her records, and we can always come down here and get it.
Thank you, Councilor
Respectfully
O'Keefe.
requested it be adopted.
On Councilor O'Keefe's motion for adoption, that this be received and placed on file. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, July 16, 2015, ordered that the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss parking issues on Howard Street.
Thank you, Councilor Gerard. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to clarify for people at home that there are, the part of Howard Street that is in Ward 6 is colloquially known as the extension. However, on the traffic ordinances, it is not. It makes no differentiation between Howard Street. So this is an issue that's come up with the houses and the townhouses that are near part of Jefferson Station and across the street. So it's really the houses from 48 Howard Street extension on. And this was due to some parking confusion and issuing of permits. So I asked the good chair of the Public Health, Safety, and the Environment Committee if we could hear it in his committee, and he agreed to.
Thank you, Councilor Gerard. On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in, thank you. Councilor Epley.
Just a point of a question for my colleague. I have no objection at all for it to come to the committee. My question, though, is does the Ward 6 councilor believe that this is a Ward 6 issue or that it's a city issue? And the reason why I ask that is just for the issue of whether it should be co-posted. I'm happy to have it co-posted if it truly is a city issue or if colleagues have a distinct interest in doing it. Otherwise, I just suggest to the president that perhaps it might be best if it's just posted, that it's just singly posted for my committee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. That actually is a great question because I think that this does come up with other projects as to how parking is allowed. And you know, I always feel like it's a little safer to co-post in case someone else does have an interest in the topic. So.
Yep. Okay.
Thank
A
you.
friendly amendment to co-post this with Committee of the Whole.
Already is.
And Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption. Councilor Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, very quickly. I have no problem with this. I will support this going to committee. I just wonder if we have the right committee here. I'm a little confused as to why it's going to this particular committee and not to OLA. But this is an ordinance issue. I believe it belongs in the community for ordinances, licenses, and legal affairs. Just making my point, I will support the will of the council. Thank
Maybe
you, Mr.
after they
President.
get through with the safety issue, they'll move it on to the legal issue. So I'm not exactly sure, but I'm willing to go along with it. On the motion to move this to Committee on Public Health Safety, co-posted with Committee of the Whole, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Are there any late files for motions, orders, or resolutions? Being none. Committee reports. Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, July 16, 2015. Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and would recommend approval for 3 tag days: Salem High School Gymnastics, December 19th, January 23rd, Salem High School Lacrosse, April 9th, and May 14th, 2016, and Salem High School Girls Softball, April 30th, 2016, and May 7th of 2016.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Report's accepted. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion.
Thank you very much. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of tag day applications submitted by Organized Basketball, has considered said matter and would recommend approval the 2 tag days of August 29th and August 30th of this year.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion.
Being none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of extended hours for Paranormal Salem, has considered said matters and would recommend that the extended hours be granted.
Acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion.
Being none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of extended hours of operation for Pastelito's Restaurant located at 101 Lafayette Street, has considered said matter and would recommend that this matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Further committee reports, Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of placing 2 benches outside the entrance of Pastelito's Restaurant located at 101 Lafayette Street, has considered said matter and would recommend that this matter remain in committee.
Acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, July 16, 2015. Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of a home rule petition for the sale of wine and malt beverage for Vesuvius Restaurant to be drunk on the premises, 2 Paradise Road, has considered said matter and would recommend that this matter remain in committee.
Acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Epley.
What's the drop?
Huh?
No, we did that one.
Oh, we did it.
Oh. Did it in that space.
Already done.
Hey, Mr. President.
Flies here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City of Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee of Public Health, Safety, and Environment, to whom was referred the matter of creating an ordinance for standards of outdoor illumination of streets and public ways, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
Acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, all those, oh, go ahead.
Just very quickly, Mr. President, our committee met concerning outdoor illumination of streets and public ways. We had both our city electrician, John Giardi, as well as Jeff Ely from the planning department here to provide us feedback as to what testing is going on across the city regarding LED lighting. There was quite a bit of public input, which was very helpful from various neighbors, and suggestions were made, as well as I want to thank specifically our Ward 2 councilor, as well as our Ward 7 councilor, for bringing this forward. This is remaining in committee because there's ongoing testing, but we're basically trying to find, to put it in a nutshell, the warmest light at the most appropriate brightness level, that is also at the cheapest expense. So we're trying to kill three birds basically with one stone, and we're doing a pretty good job, to be frank. There was an expert that came in for the meeting that was a guest expert who said that Salem is by far way ahead of the game in terms of doing an audit of their lighting in the city, and of public lighting. So we're ahead of the game. It's staying in committee until we get a better sense from our experts as to what the ordinance should look like, but we're in good hands with the folks that are helping this out.
Remain in committee, right?
Yes.
On adoption of the recommendation that this remain in committee, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Further committee reports, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council, July 16, 2015, the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of a traffic ordinance relative to Chapter 42, Section 10A, restricted way, certain times on Chase Street, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Further committee reports, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in City Council, July 16, 2015. The Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of prohibited amplification by any devices on Essex Street and downtown streets for the month of October, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Thank you. Communications from city officials, being none. Petitions.
We have a petition from Verizon to install conduits on Federal Street.
Hearing ordered September 10th, 2015.
We have a
Further petitions.
We have a petition and order from National Grid to relocate one solely owned pole on Harmony Grove Road.
Council Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval.
Thank you, Council Gerard. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is part of the Grove Street Improvement Project, and this came highly recommended by the city engineer.
Thank you very much. On Council Gerard's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further petitions.
Held from the last meeting, the request from Salem Time Machine located at 131 Essex Street for a sidewalk tent during haunted happenings.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to this petition be denied.
Under discussion.
Under discussion, I had a conversation with a couple city officials regarding this matter in the month of October, and at this time it doesn't seem prudent to allow a tent during the month of October to stretch over a sidewalk in front of a business, even though I understand their intent is to allow their patrons of the business to be undercover if the weather's inclement. But even though it states that the sidewalk's 7 feet wide, the tent's only going to be 7 feet, then they're going to put eventually what happens is, what we're finding is they put, from my discussions with the people that are involved with October, they end up putting a kiosk in there, impeding walk on the sidewalk, and it's not an ideal situation, and at this time I can't support it, so I'm recommending to deny.
I understand. On Council McCarthy's motion for denial, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter is denied. Further petitions.
We have a request from the residents of Moffett Road to hold a block party on Saturday, August 15, 2015, from noon to 9.
Councilor O'Keefe.
I move that the application be approved.
Thank you, Councilor O'Keefe. On Councilor O'Keefe's motion that this be approved, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have a request from the residents of Peabody Street to hold a block party on Sundays, August 23rd and 30th, 2015, September 6th and 13th, 2015, from 7 to 9 p.m.
A lot of block parties. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval.
Under discussion.
Under discussion. This is in conjunction with Salsa Sundays. They're going to use the PBD Street Park in order to promote some salsa dancing and some neighborhood involvement with regards to salsa dancing, and they felt that they wanted to make it a family event, so the idea of closing down that section of PBD Street for that amount of time while they're doing the Salsa Sundays would make it more inviting and open to families to participate. So it comes with the Park and Rec, they're going for approval in front of Park and Rec next week on their meeting, and they're also working in conjunction with the CDC and a whole bunch of other people to try to make this happen. So when they were looking to close the street, we felt that the block party was the easiest and cleanest way to do it. So they've applied for it, and I would move to approve.
On Council McCarthy, excuse me, under discussion, Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a question of Council McCarthy. Is this correct or a typo? Just 2 hours? It says 7, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not being my ward, but having a friend that lives on that street, can we just make sure that they somehow notify the residents? Because I could see one block party, but when it's happening every Sunday and maybe someone's not notified at their door, that'd be great.
It's fair enough.
Thank you. On Councilor McCarthy's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further petitions.
We request from the residents of Salem Street to hold a block party on Saturday, July 18, 2015, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval. And then I have a question.
Under discussion.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m., is that a typo? I mean, a block party is going all day? I didn't see it in the, my paperwork, but, it's this Saturday. It comes with, all the proper people who signed it, so I don't have a issue per se. It's gonna, it's running from all day, so.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay. Move for approval.
Okay, on Councilor McCarthy's motion for approval, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is this part of Salem Street near Saltonstall School?
That I do not know. I didn't have the application for, could I just have that back real quick? If I could have 1 second. It's 2 street addresses, 1 through 3.
The other end?
It's the other end. It's the end closest to Dow Street, I believe.
Okay. I would
Which is
just,
behind the old church, behind the old St. Joseph site.
okay.
That's this Saturday, right?
Yes.
Saturday, okay.
Councilor Siegel.
I would just offer, perhaps as a friend, as a suggestion, perhaps in the future during a school day between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., right by the Saltonstall School, might be a very suitable place for a block party to block off the street.
Thank you.
Councilor Siegel.
Not my ward, though, but I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm just a little concerned with it starting at 7 a.m. in the morning. That's real early, and if this is going to start at 7, people are going to start getting out there at 6:30 to set up. I'd actually like to see if maybe we could make this 9 to 7. 12 hours is an awful long time for a block party. Starting at 7 o'clock in the morning on a weekend.
Right.
I have no problem with that. I was a little taken aback by that. That's why I asked if it was a typo. I would typically see something like this from like noon to 7 or something like that, but if they want to get set up, it's for a short section of the street, from Dow Street down to, would go to Dow, from Dow to Harbor. So it's a short section of Salem. It's Salem Street. It's not really heavily traveled. It's right behind, it's the street directly behind the old St. Joseph site. So actually, there's only residents on one side of that street because the other side backs up to the parking lot. So, yeah, I think they just asked for a blanket approval for that amount of time. I have no problem amending it, go from 9 o'clock until 7 p.m. That's fine.
Thank you. On Council McCarthy's motion that we grant this block party from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
7 p.m.
9 a.m. to 7 p.m. I'm sorry, wrong line. From 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, matter carries. Further petitions.
We have a request from the residents of Orchard Street to hold a block party on Saturday, September 12, 2015, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Council Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be granted.
On Council Gerard's motion that this be granted, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Further petitions, and we can waive the reading.
Move that they be granted.
License applications for public guides, taxi operators, and vehicle for hire.
Council Segal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move that they be granted.
On Council Segal's motion that these be granted, all those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have license applications for secondhand clothing and secondhand valuable.
Council Segal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move refer to Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Segal's motion to move this to committee. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Further petitions.
We have one claim.
Council Segal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move refer to Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs.
On Councilor Segal's motion to move this to committee. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. Further petitions.
We have one constable bond.
Council Segal.
Mr. President, move refer to Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs and returned approved.
Council Segal's motion to move this to committee on ordinance, license, and legal affairs. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. Senior Councilor O'Keefe.
Move for adjournment of the City Council.
On Councilor O'Keefe's motion for adjournment. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. The matter carries. We stand adjourned. Thank you for getting us through a long night. Thank you very much.
I just have to sign a couple of these.